for the first of the doubleheader for the Cup Series. Great job, Bagman.
Look at that jump.
Yeah, Chase Elliott,
guy.
he saw the flag right away.
Wow. I'm not sure I've seen a jump that big. You know, that is incredible.
Sorting it out back here, William Byron a little bit. Oh,
the two-car.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski had to catch it as well.
I think that's something we can expect, guys. Remember, super low downforce on these cars. Last year, they ran high downforce. Cars aren't going to have near the grip they had last year. A big adjustment for these drivers.
What a great save by Brad Keselowski, total pro. Not only gathering control of his car, but staying out of the door of the 24 right there. That's probably the hardest part about that. Your car's wrecking. Sometimes you just go up there and take that guy with you. That's a big moment. You can hear the 4-car, Kevin Harvick lifting off the gas, allowing Brad time to control it.
Think about that. From that 24 car, William Byron, he's one of those bubble guys racing to get into playoffs. So, game of inches could have easily been taken out right there early in the race.
Logano creeping ahead of Jimmy Johnson, that Ally 48. And right behind him, William Byron. We mentioned the bubble battle. Those two right now are 16th and 17th.
How does he race his teammate? Jimmy's really good here, we know that, but Jimmy's the veteran on his way out. Williams, the young guy on his way in, trying to make a name for himself.
We talked about that low downforce package, Steve, and I think that is a little bit of an advantage to Jimmy Johnson. He loves to drive a race car at Dover with as low a rear grip as possible so that it can point. And with this low downforce, it's a little bit easier to make that happen than it would have been with that high downforce.
Well, it's less downforce, and oh, by the way, full power, 750 horsepower under the hood. When you think about Jimmy Johnson and those numbers, everybody talks about his 11 wins. Well, we forget the guy on the box for those 11 wins, he's crew chief and the guy out the rear bumper of Jimmy Johnson. Chad Knaus, the crew chief for William Byron. So it's such a great combination. Jimmy, the driver, and Chad, the crew chief, have been split up and now both battling for that final playoff spot.
Parker.
Well, Rick, you know, we look at Jimmy Johnson trying to hold off the teammate there, William Byron. I was talking to his crew chief, Cliff Daniels, and he said how this race is really, you know, going back and looking at the old trends. You know, the race 2018 when they last had this package, but all the way back to 2014 to identify the things that Jimmy wants inside that race car, because a lot of these teams, with this change
we got a wreck on the back stretch. One car spinning around on the back straightaway. Kurt Busch.
That's Kurt Busch. They got into the wall, and you see all the damage to the left front.
Heavy damage.
Nose damage.
That's going to be a day ender, I think, for Kurt Busch. Shocking.
We're done.
He was one of the drivers I had circled.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Think about that too, guys. He's going to learn nothing. All these other drivers he's competing against are going to learn so much more because they're going to get this race in. He's done for the day.
So let's take a look right here. We have the 20 underneath him, the 1 up the banking in the second lane. Is there contact?
Yeah, just a little bit of contact from the 20 car. It looked like the 1 might have got out of the gas just a little bit.
And here's that straightaway we talked about in the race breakdown, Rick, 9 degrees.
There's huge damage to the left rear quarter panel of the 20 car from, I'm guessing, the 88.
Still there, bumper.
Right here. All these guys checking up.
Now bumper. Barely there.
Yeah, the 88 got a bunch of damage to the right front.
Yeah, the 88's right front. I didn't see the quarter panel, but the right front corner on the 88 is destroyed. Yeah, that's day over for Kurt Busch. Let's take a look at the 88. That's the one you were talking about. I think he's on pit road.
Look at the quarter panel.
Oh, boy. Yeah, the 20 left rear is destroyed. The right front of the 88.
My bad, man.
Rick,
Sorry.
it's the monster. We are not making up how difficult this track is.
8 laps. We were 8 laps in.
And hey, guys, this is the shortest race we've had here in forever. The intensity is right off the bat. It started right now. Only 311 laps. That intensity has created a caution super early.
Well, Eric Jones didn't give him a lot of room there, and that contact early on now has Eric Jones seeing this on his left rear quarter panel, and as well as the 88 of Alex Bowman has damage to his right front quarter panel.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that audio again of the 1 car through that corner if he was out of the throttle just a little bit, because it looked like the 20 got into it quickly, like the 1 had lifted for losing traction off the corner. And you got to push hard and really try to get the air off the guy in front of you and get right up to that back bumper and be aggressive. And sometimes if that guy lifts, nothing you can do.
So early on, the monster has already attacked. Listen to the throttle of the 1 as he's coming out of the turn here.
Yeah, watch his eyes. Shut his eyes right before he hits the wall.
Yeah, they probably pop out of his forehead if he didn't hit that inside wall as hard as you do. Watch these guys use this choose rule. You see that little triangle on the front straightaway, that box? They can't touch that box. That's a penalty.
That's the way they're lining up for the restart here. Again, there is a competition caution at lap 25. 10 laps already in. This is the 11th lap now complete. And Chase Elliott again with a great start. Denny Hamlin trying to hold off the 14 of Clint Boyer running in the 3rd position. He'll hold on to 2nd.
So these cars had a little more power than the Xfinity cars. The outside line on the Xfinity race earlier was really the line to be. But why is he getting such a great launch? It's because the inside line has to anticipate his launch. And literally, when you try to go to the gas, as Denny Hamlin does, it just spins the tires. You can't get any traction. You can't get going. Leader just drives away.
Kevin Harvick, winningest driver right now in 2020. And right behind him, William Byron in the 24.
Yeah, Williams around the 48 car now, in position in front of him. That's important. You want to stay in front of that 48 car this whole race. Not allow Jimmy to point his way into this playoff and knock the 24 out of the playoffs. That's tough, though, man, when you're battling your teammates. You want to be able to lean on your teammates. Use them. Have them help you throughout the year, not race against them, not battle them for the playoffs.
And we talked to Jimmy Johnson earlier this week, and he made the comment, he said, I'd rather win. If I was between making the playoffs and winning, I'm going to choose winning. I want to get back to victory lane. My fans want to see me there. I want to be there. This team deserves to be there.
Yeah, that's an easy decision. Going to victory lane is such a great feeling. And he wants that one more time. He wants to feel that one more time.
From a guy that's won 7 championships, I would argue that going into the playoffs without a win, while he does have a chance to win a championship, he can't feel very good about his chances going up against the likes of, say, Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin.
Kyle Busch back down here at 14th, trying to work himself up through the field. So he's looking on the outside, trying to see if there's grip there. Typically that grip on the outside, oh, he's making that move.
He sure did.
Yeah, really good job, especially this early in the race and this early in the run, to be able to get that run on the outside. That's pretty impressive. Normally it takes a little bit of rubber getting built into that outside line before it works.
Think about it. You know, we're running this doubleheader, but we also had the Xfinity race right before this. So this track is ready. It's primed with that outer groove, that 3rd groove worked in from the Xfinity cars. So you can go right up there probably a lot sooner than you typically would on any given Sunday.
We see the 21 of Matty D there getting passed by both the 10 and the 47. Now he's going to have to play some defense on, I think that's the 34 of McDowell right behind him. The 21, we've talked so much about Jimmy Johnson and William Byron because they are on that bubble line. Well, old Matt DiBenedetto is anything but safe. Currently 15th at only plus 30. Daytona next week. You get a different winner this week, or no one wants to be 16th. Why 16th is better than 17th with Daytona coming? I mean, truthfully, anyone can win when you go to the super speedway.
Yeah, and we're watching, or we see 34 in the picture there, and we talked a lot about Michael McDowell last week. We knew going into last week he would be a one that would run in the top 10, probably top 5. Sure enough, great finish for Michael McDowell. Actually, top 20 runs, 12 of the 17 races since we've returned from COVID. What an impressive run Michael McDowell has been able to do in that 34. And just in front of him, the 21, Matt DiBenedetto. Dave?
And Rick, what a cool conversation we had with Matt this week about the possibility of making the playoffs. In fact, he was on the way to the gym with his wife Taylor. As you see this battle up front, Kevin Harvick moving in. He was on his way to the gym, and we asked him about it, and Taylor could hear the conversation. And he looked over at her, showed us her on the phone, and she said, "I'm tearing up now just thinking about it." Matt DiBenedetto's come a long way and hopes to make the playoff. It would be very emotional.
Yeah, it's been a great journey for Matt DiBenedetto and, of course, his wife Taylor. They have been working so hard to see if Matt could fulfill the dreams that he's had. And sure enough, you know, running for Wood Brothers, sitting in a position where he could potentially make the playoffs. Yeah, Taylor got emotional, and it's acceptable. I mean, it's something that you would almost expect because of the journey that they've been on.
Yeah, the spouses live it with you. There's no question. They're right there with you all along the way.
Man, this 19 car is struggling right here, trying to get a hold of the track. Dave.
You see Eric Jones there battling underneath Corey LaJoie. That 20 car back on track. And now just think what's at stake for him. He's just been told that he's not coming back to JGR. Talked to his crew chief, Chris Gale, this morning. He said, we're just trying to find our way back. Last year, we had a total of 12 finishes of worse than 20th in the whole year. This year, we've almost equaled that in only 22 races. We're fast. We're just not getting the results. And it's been another down start to the day here for Jones.
A down start. When I look at that damage, Jeff, my big concern for the 20 is, can they get fuel in that race car? Anytime I see damage on the left rear quarter panel, maybe not a big aerodynamic disadvantage, but fueling could become an issue.
Yeah, I talked to Eric Jones actually just yesterday, and he was telling me that there was some opportunities ahead of him. You know, as we just talked about, I see Kevin Harvick pushing Joey Logano, making Joey Logano loose, trying to make this pass. But Eric Jones feeling pretty good about his opportunities ahead of him for next year, but still a lot of work to do.
We saw as they were working their way, Eric Jones, we saw him go by the 32. Corey LaJoie and Go Fast Racing. It was announced this week that Corey LaJoie wouldn't be back with Go Fast Racing in 2021. So now all of a sudden he becomes a free agent.
Caution's out.
And we got a caution. That's for the competition caution. We were expecting that at lap 25.
Yeah, talking about Corey LaJoie, he and I had a long conversation this morning, and he's excited about his opportunities, talking to a lot of people. Feels like he's going to have a chance as well to get in a little better equipment. Loves this car, loves this team, appreciates the opportunity they've given him, but feels like he's going to have a shot to be able to get in a little better equipment to show what he can do, and he's really excited about that. He has supreme confidence in himself and believes if he's given the chance, he can show that to the world.
You got to be pretty confident to have your face on the hood of the car, and he's done that a couple times, right?
Hey, I've not seen a reason not to give Corey LaJoie a shot. I like what he does on the racetrack, and perhaps even more importantly, not to take away from his driving skills. I love what he does for his partners. Go back to Watkins Glen, he had Samaritan's feet on the car. Multiple times he's had partners on his car, and just naturally through social media, I hear a lot about his partnerships. That tells me he's doing a good job, Junior.
Yeah, I think the one thing is he's took a page out of Matt DiBenedetto's book and made this announcement early. He either has plans already, or he's trying to make people know, hey, I'm available.
Also, I want to shout out his car owner too, Archie St. Hilaire. He's done a great job, and he appreciates his drivers getting an opportunity like Corey may be getting. Parker.
And Kevin Harvick is really liking the opportunity inside that 4 car. Now driving from 9th up to 4th, just a little loose on entry. It's going to be 4 Goodyear tires and air pressure adjustment for Kevin Harvick, Dylan.
In the center of your screen, William Byron pits from the 7th spot, reporting he's just a little bit tight from the center off. 4 tires and fuel. Doesn't look like any chassis adjustments for now. Just 4 tires and fuel for Byron. Dave?
Leader Chase Elliott will take 4 Goodyear tires and some fuel and a chassis adjustment. He says if I try to push through the turn, I can't get it. It's too tight. He's going to lose the race off of pit road. So strategy being played here, guys.
2 tires for Logano, Blaney, and Almirola, making up multiple spots. And then Hamlin dropping a couple as well. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans. Valspar, available at Lowe's. And by Toyota. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can always follow your favorite drivers with the high-definition in-car cameras. All you have to do is visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the mobile app today.
All right, Rick, we talked about the length of the race at only 311 laps, and mistakes will be magnified. Well, we saw Kurt Busch's mistake or accident. Well, here's another issue on pit road. The 4 of Kevin Harvick comes to pit road. Watch that rear tire changer. The jack gets dropped instantly. The hand goes up. Nope. Come on back. Loose left rear lug nuts. They had to come back down pit road a second time, Parker, to tighten them up.
Right, and that is filling Chris McMullen for Daniel Smith, who actually got an infection from a suspected spider bite, so he was staying at home this weekend. This pit crew has been so strong all year, but that change, you're going to have to rally back for that one, Steve.
Yeah, the 4-car, 55 or 50% of the teams in the Cup Series are doing double duty. They're doing Xfinity cars that ran earlier today. The 4 teams, one of those teams that is not. So they have no reps this morning in the Xfinity race, where a lot of these teams on pit road have already pitted cars today.
Yeah, you look at their numbers, right? When you look at their average for the season, Kevin Harvick not only is dominating on the racetrack, but they're dominating on pit road. So, Dale, I think you bring up a great point, right? Would the reps have helped them? Maybe not. Then Parker brings up they had to make a change. So some we're going to have to keep an eye on. A busy weekend at Dover. You two both know how tight the pit road is for the driver. Well, for the crew chief, I have anxiety because I'm afraid you're going to have damages. Not a lot of room for our teams. It's hard to focus and do your job. Definitely caught the timing of the 4 there.
Once again, the choose rule, that cone or the arrow is 2 seconds past the finish line, and so they have about 2 seconds to make their decision.
And the top 5 guys here on lining up, they stayed out. And then behind them, the next 3 did only 2 tires. So the first guy on 4 tires is the 11 car, Denny Hamlin.
You're not making me feel any better
He's
about
back
this.
there a ways.
Not making me feel any better, Jeff.
We saw no tires work well in the Xfinity race for a few laps. 40 to go in this stage.
That 3 on the outside, Austin Dillon, again back from missing a race last week after testing positive for COVID-19. And the field approaching the Geico restart zone.
Great restart from that inside line. That outside's been dominant so far all day today. And again, the 3-car takes that outside and uses it. Look at Denny Hamlin, 3 wide around the top. Big momentum from that 11 car.
Making those 4 tires work for him as he's now in the tire tracks of the 22 of Logano.
Look at Blaney in that red car about in 10th place. He's really struggling.
He is.
Chase Elliott around the outside, Clint Boyer on the inside.
William Byron's back here as well as Brad Keselowski fighting with Blaney.
The 10 car on the top lane in front of Chase Elliott. Eric Almirola got really loose getting in the corner. Oh, a lot of contact.
Heavy contact made there between Chase Elliott and Clint Boyer.
Yeah, Chase got into the right rear quarter panel of Clint. Clint into the left rear quarter panel of the 10 car. A lot happening right there. Those guys lucky to get away. See the damage here, though.
Not seeing a lot of tire smoke.
There's a little damage, though, on that 9 car's left front. He's just down the track just a little bit. Turns the 14 up into the 10 car. Here's that Denny Hamlin move I was talking about on the restart. Look at this, just jumps to the top. You mentioned it, Jeff, the 12 car struggling a little bit right there. Denny able to take advantage.
Denny shooting right on by.
Goes around the 6 car right there. Taking another position, moving forward into the 5th position, trying to chase down Joey Logano. Joey moving forward as well on this restart.
We saw the strategy call by Austin Dillon. No tires, who continues to lead. The 42 of Kenseth in 2nd and Buescher in 3rd. Talk so much about Jimmy Johnson's experience here at Dover. Well, how about the 42 of Kenseth? I was wondering to see how he was going to end up on this lower downforce package. He's tied with Jimmy Johnson with active drivers. 17 top 5s in his career. Burton, I know you and him have had some great battles here at Dover.
Yeah, we have. And I was thinking the same thing. I think with this low downforce in Dover, this is a place where Matt Kenseth can kind of get his feet underneath him, right? No practice has really hurt him. But coming here where he has so much confidence and so much experience, I think it's a place where he can excel. Dave, you got something on Chase?
Yeah, Chase radioed right after that. Yes, it is rubbing. The crew talking back and forth. We don't see smoke, but sometimes, guys, you know, you can tell inside that race car if it's a potential harm. And remember why that happened? He restarted 10th after taking on 4 tires where there were a number of cars that played strategy and won the race off of pit road.
Yeah, Junior, you don't feel that rub. You smell that rub. You smell rubber. You just get a little hint of a smell, and even if they can't see it, sometimes you can smell it, and that makes you really nervous as a driver.
Yeah, that left front, it's got the tire mark, or got the tire letters rubbed off of it, and you see it's kind of split that fender, knocked that fender in right around the 12 o'clock. They'll be working on that to try to get that off the tire.
Let's take a look at today's Xfinity fastest lap, and it is the 9 of Chase Elliott. It happened on the 3rd lap before, obviously, that contact. How about Austin Dillon, though? 34th lap. He's the 3rd fastest lap turn, and Austin Dillon right now is checking out on Matt Kenseth. Dillon.
Well, Rick, we've talked so many times this year about how RCR as a whole has just improved so much. A lot of places they haven't been great at in the past, like Dover, they're much better at this year. Justin Alexander, the crew chief for this 3-car Austin Dillon, he kind of hinted that that's part and due to the relationship amongst he and Randall Burnett, who's the crew chief for the other RCR car with Tyler Reddick. A smaller team, both of those guys work really well together, really closely together, allows them to make some changes on the fly a little bit quicker. So while some of the other Chevy teams throughout the rest of the season, throughout the summer months, have maybe struggled to keep pace, RCR has kept pace, and they're doing a nice job right now as Austin leads here early on.
These guys, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Denny on the bottom, up the racetrack trying to get rear grip, gets to the left rear of Joey Logano. It's just good hard racing right there. I don't think either one of those drivers will be upset because nothing bad happened. Denny lifted right there, got back in line, then went back and battled again.
I don't know, man.
You wouldn't like that?
I bet Joey's upset. Denny drove by both of them, though, moved into 2nd place, put his sights on that 3-car out front.
It doesn't make it quite as bad as when they hit you and don't pass you, right? If when they hit you and pass you, that's what gets you fired up.
Yeah.
Or did me anyway. Of course, that explains a lot, too.
Yeah, right behind Logano, Clint Boyer, guy who hasn't really had such a great season. I'm sure he's unhappy and wanting more. Having a great run today. Moved up into that 5th position, passing Chris Buescher a few laps ago.
Clint's good at this racetrack. 2 straight top 10s. Always seems to run well at Dover.
Well, you just mentioned the name. Chris Buescher had that strategy. He's fallen back a little bit. He's now back to the 6th position. Luke Lambert and Chris just trying to find a little bit to go their way this year. Had a great run last week at the Daytona Road Course, finishing 5th. Well, this is the guy that has 0 stage points in 12 stages here at Dover. So this is not one of his favorite racetracks, but somehow he's got himself up in the 7th position. Momentum, we talk about it all the time, Rick. Confidence and momentum. Well, can he take that good run last week, push it into confidence, and use that momentum here at Dover?
I love that shot. These cars are so fast here.
A lot of horsepower, a lot of speed. And of course, low downforce. So the perfect formula, perfect recipe for Miles the Monster to grab on to some of these cars, and already he has been ruthless. Just 17 to go in stage 1. NASCAR Cup Series Drydene 311 from Dover International Speedway. Aero coverage brought to you by Geico. Again, during the break, we saw the 3 of Austin Dillon stay out, and he has pulled away from the field. He's somewhat dominating, but on pit road, Kevin Harvick had an issue with the left rear. They had to come back onto pit road. Parker, it seems like they're rebounding nicely.
Rick, he is absolutely flying, up 16 positions since the restart when he had that issue in pit road and had to go all the way to the back. And to think, you know, a year ago we were here and drivers said they couldn't pass because of the high downforce. We went to the low downforce, put Kevin Harvick in the back of the field, the fast car. He's proven you can pass. He's running all over this racetrack.
I saw that graphic. Brad Keselowski also moving forward 13 spots. He's up into 3rd place. He's passed his teammate Joey Logano, Clint Boyer, Kenseth, all those guys. Look at that climb through the field. What a fast car for this 2.
And Denny Hamlin talked about Austin Dillon kind of checking out. Denny Hamlin's running down, only a half second behind him now. There he is. Good battle for the stage win. Denny Hamlin could use those stage points. One more stage point would be a big deal for him, but also for Austin Dillon. Austin's going to fight him hard for that 1 point.
Now, Austin has a win already, and because of the protocol, he did test positive for COVID-19. Wasn't able to race last week, but will have a waiver because of the situation. So even though he's not going to race in every race, with his win, he's still going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, 238 race consecutive streak snapped for the Austin Dillon. That had to be tough to set up.
So Denny's going to run this bottom, but he was running the high side, trying to get that run off the corner. He runs the bottom, rolls around the bottom, closes the gap. But when he gets up to behind his 3 car, he has to go where it is not. So he's going to go a little bit higher here, turn that car down, try to get back down to the bottom of the racetrack and make a gain right here all the way down next straightaway.
You also wonder, too, Junior, also wonder, as he's making those adjustments, if he doesn't have that high downforce package in his mind, right? You're not quite as affected by the car in front of you with this package than you were the other package.
There you see it, the big gains he makes as he turns that car down the hill. Up the hill, he's going to turn the car aggressively here. Works a little bit better for him, I think, in turn 3 and 4. Seems to follow that high line all the way around 1 and 2, but right here, he's going to turn down a little bit.
Austin's going to get hung up right here. Won't be able to turn, let the wheel go.
There's the battle for the lead, and it's over.
Yeah, just that little bit of lap traffic really hurt Austin. Even though he really wasn't close to that lap traffic, it blocked the lane he really wanted to be in.
Guys, it's 4 fresh tires versus the old tires, too, right? I mean, that has to come into play also.
New leader, stay 11.
20 lap fresher tires definitely are helping Denny Hamlin. But bravo to the 3. Crew Chief Justin Alexander to stay out. Great call. Got up the track position, Dave. With only 10 laps to go in the stage, still running second.
How good is this 11 team right now, Denny Hamlin? They just continue to pound away on this field. I asked Chris Gabehart about motivating his team right now when they seem to be hitting on all cylinders. And he said, I have a philosophy that I've had for a long time. It becomes not results-based when you ask each individual to compete against themselves. Make your part better, and the team will be better, but it's not based on results. Right now, the results are good, and the individual efforts are good as well.
Martin Truex Jr. trying to track down this 14 car. Lap traffic cost him a little bit of time there. 14's trying to track down the 22.
Yeah, right now Boyer has the 5th spot. Logano is 4th, Keselowski 3rd, Austin Dillon now back to 2nd.
One driver I keep trying to find, Kyle Busch. I mean, he's all the way back in 16th. Just nothing working for that 18 car.
And 14 got through the corner really well there. Got off the corner. Clint Boyer right to the back of that 22. 22 up the middle of the racetrack, diamonds the corner. Clint rolls right around that bottom, trying to keep that left front tire in that clean patch of asphalt, patch of concrete. That's a little more grip there. You can keep that left front super low. 14 gets a little loose there.
Look at this battle right here.
How about Harvick on the outside? Not even a battle. He just drives right by everyone.
Yeah, Kenseth's struggling. Remember, Kenseth is also one of those drivers that stayed out on tires. You see right there, see how loose he was in that 42 car, just no grip on corner entry.
Harvick continuing to climb. He is already up to 7th.
Oh, big tire.
And yeah, tire rub
Tire
to
rub,
77.
something like that.
Reed Sorensen slow on the racetrack. Smoke coming out the back.
Maybe a mechanical issue.
Yeah, I don't see any damage to the body, so I think if it is tire, it's because something in the suspension is broken. As much as he's slowing down, I wonder if it's not a
All lined up.
drive line issue.
Just hold it up.
Now the 22.
Logano way up the track. Yeah, Steve. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not.
Under 5 laps to go. It's stage 1. Logano a little bit loose.
Listen to the throttle here, trying to work that throttle. Steering down here in 3 and 4.
These two battling for the 5th spot. Didn't take long. Martin Truex Jr. grabs it.
Joe Logano on 2 tires right here. Also, everybody else around him is on 4.
And you think you're loose with a good left rear tire, try an older one. Let's take a look at that 22 as we see the 19 saw on the wheel. Kind of goes in the middle of the racetrack, and whoa, just a big slide, guys, all the way up the racetrack, gathers it in. We wondered why it was up that high. It was a big correction. Big save. Oh, Truex. How about Truex? He's correcting it as well.
This is exactly what the Xfinity race looked like.
New tire compound Goodyear brought. I talked to several team engineers, crew chiefs. They're all nervous with this tire about being loose getting into the corner. Let's go listen to some in-car radio.
I think we're the best car here right now, but we can keep working on it. Make sure you tell me exactly what you want here to bring. When I run the very bottom, I didn't trigger the snapping on the exit. I'm a little loose into the center in the long run, but it ain't bad.
That's what, hey Steve, if you're a crew chief, don't you love it when your driver, it says, I'm a little loose right at the beginning of the center, but not bad. I mean, that opens your door up to being able to do more things to your car.
It's great feedback as we see one lap to go in this stage. I also love Chris Gabehart being honest. I think we're okay right now, perhaps the best car right now, but he has seen that improvement you just talked about in Kevin Harvick with positions, Rick. He sees there are cars they are not battling right now, they will be later, so reminding his very experienced driver, keep talking to me, tell me what you need.
Denny Hamlin is going to grab his 6th stage win of 2020. He wins stage 1 of the first race of the doubleheader from the Monster Mile.
That Austin Dillon, when all that pit stop sequence started, he was running 18th. Stayed on the racetrack, finished 2nd.
Keselowski, Boyer,
Jimmy Johnson
Jr. Yes, Jimmy Johnson.
Grabs a few points here. William Byron not in that top 10.
And the gap now 6 points separating the 24 and 48 at the bubble. So those points very important. Denny Hamlin worked his way all the way up to the front, stayed there and got the stage 1 win, and his fans are cheering him on. We know how important it is to come in first. That's why first responder calls take priority on the network public safety agencies rely on. NASCAR is brought to you by Verizon. So you get points at the end of each stage. Top 10 that finish go from 10 points for winning all the way down to 1 for finishing in the 10th position. And we mentioned how important points are. Well, Jimmy Johnson is in the top 10 gaining points. He was on the outside running in the 17th position overall points wise, and so he has gained some points on William Byron.
We saw all the cars on pit road and drivers. We've talked about how challenging this pit road can be. Well, look right here how tight it gets on exit. These crew members on the right-hand side need to be careful because that's 3 wide. Austin Dillon does a nice job just getting out of the gas, keeping his right front fender on. And here's a look on board from Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, if Joey Logano pulls out just a little bit sooner, that becomes a whole lot worse as they'd be 4 wide. A lot of contact, but it's tight. It's tough. Pit road congested. Even the stalls very short. Hard to get the work done.
It's one of the most difficult pit roads for a driver. It's really tight, the entire length down pit road.
So Jeff, you and I had this conversation. You said, man, the William Byron lost a lot of spots on pit road, but actually he had lost quite a few before coming to pit road. Pitted from the 21st position, came off from pit road in 26th. Chad Knaus major adjustments, turning round wrenches in both sides, a rubber in the right rear. He sees those points that Jimmy Johnson got in the stage, Rick. Chad Knaus, a veteran, making big swings early in a shorter race.
As they're running, Jimmy Johnson is in the playoffs by 1 point over William Byron. But again, every position on the racetrack counts as a point, and they're fighting for every spot they can get.
You saw him to choose Truex Jr. in 2nd. Did not take the inside line. He's taking the outside line, basically lining up in 4th behind his teammate because he feels like that outside line will launch better. We watched this in the Xfinity race. The inside line had a lot of trouble getting going. Interesting to see those guys make those choices for that choose rule.
I was just mentioning, look at this right here. That's a lot of turns. Rubber already in the right rear. Coming over to the left side. Tire goes on. Big adjustments for checking out. We're going to crank on this wedge wrench. 2, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to quit counting because it's a lot. Hey, listen, we talked about the length. This guy knows. We talked about Jimmy's 11 wins. Chad Knaus has 11 here. He knows this track is a monster, and you have to attack it with adjustments. You can't just leave your driver out there fighting an ill-handling race car. Junior, I swear, I made those type of adjustments for you too. Just they didn't always work.
Field approaching the Geico restart zone. Back under the throttle, and we'll see how they do on that outside line. Denny Hamlin, Mark Truex Jr. working the high line, and look at this. Mark Truex Jr. with the momentum. He'll surge ahead. He's got second.
And Junior, you called it where that 19 lined up. Looks like the top worked.
Yeah, I think the inside line most often has trouble spinning the tires down there, and it bottles up everybody down there. Great choice for that 19 team. Might not work every time.
Have to let you know the 42 speeding on entrance to pit road. They were in the 13th position, but obviously speeding penalty drops them to the back.
Jimmy Johnson just getting by Joey Logano. That's for 6th place. And look at Kevin Harvick. That early trouble, he's all the way back.
18 and 10 car had a little bit of a race there behind these guys.
Yeah, we saw the 18 shoot up the racetrack, and now the 10 of Eric Almirola trying to take advantage of it.
47 of Stenhouse having a good day. Let's go back and look at that battle as they're still going at it. Kyle got up the racetrack, and Eric kind of drove it underneath him and took the air off Kyle's quarter panel. They're still battling.
Yeah, Eric's trying to get that spot, but Kyle's not going to let him have it.
That's something you just don't see with the package they ran here last year. You can hardly make someone loose the way that Eric made Kyle loose right there.
Whoa. Thought that 18 was going to get the fence there, pushing hard, using every inch of this racetrack to try to hold that position, and he does.
So Kyle Busch now holding on to the 9th spot. Almirola running 10th. It's Hamlin.
There you go.
There you go.
Keep packing air on him.
That means keep getting up to that back bumper and disturbing that car, just like this right here. Keep trying to get to it. See how it upsets the 18 car? It takes, as soon as the 10 gets to that back bumper, it takes any air that's on the spoiler of that 18 car off of it. 18 can't get the gas down.
And you're watching Kyle Busch. He's not won a race in a long time. That's the winningest driver in the last decade right there. He's not won. You know how bad he wants it.
His last win was for the championship. He won last year at Homestead. That's his last win. He has been winless in 2020.
And I would make an argument that they weren't running well before that. They really struggled halfway through last year. They were not running well, and that's continued into this year. They did an incredible job of winning that championship last year. Dylan.
Jeff, talking with Adam Stevens, crew chief for this car, just kind of asked him how he stays motivated or how the guys stay motivated despite all this bad luck they've had recently. And Adam kind of made the point, listen, I'm not a rah-rah guy. I don't need to really get these guys pumped up. They stay pumped up. They just need a chance. We just need to be in a position one of these weeks to capitalize and do what we know we can do to find ourselves in victory lane. So despite all this bad luck and having not won yet this year, the confidence is still high in this 18 camp. They just need to find a way to get up front and stay up front here over the course of one of these races.
The concern I have, Rick, is we just saw the graphic, right? The latest he's ever won in a season goes all the way back to 2005, race 25.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't win one of these races here at Dover, he set a new personal record that he doesn't want to set. And we saw the playoff points as well with only one. So even if they completely correct and right the ship, they just are such a deficit heading into the playoffs. I tell you, NASCAR has this point system right. The regular season, there is no home field advantage like other sports. So what do by racing well in the regular season? You fill that bucket. It helps you advance through the playoffs.
Dave.
Joey Logano runs 7th. They made a small air pressure adjustment that last time, but there was some discussion about the tires.
The tires look like wore out, or not terrible. I mean, you can tell the lefts were worn, but wasn't like there was corners or anything. Okay, I don't like it. And 4.
You hear the chuckle from him. Teams are downloading data right now. This is a different tire for them here at Dover this year, provided by Goodyear. So they're working through it, gathering all the data they can, and they get to apply it again tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, doubleheader. Again, over 600 miles, 600 laps will be run here over the weekend. This first race, 311.
Hey, we got a chance to ride along with the best ever to do it right here. Let's take a ride. Let's listen to his throttle, watch his wheel. Listen to him when he goes to the throttle. How he goes to the throttle in the middle of the corner to carry corner speed. Then he actually comes back off the throttle. of drivers over the years that would love to have this ride. Learn from Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. I think this is what makes him so good here is his ability to run part throttle. He loves for the throttle to turn the race car.
Right in front of him, Austin Dillon doing a great job in 5th place. That strategy call to stay out in the first segment, giving him all that track position. It's paying off right now. Parker.
Well, Dale, Steve was talking about Jimmy using part throttle instead of the corners here, and it's one of the things that's made him so good over the years here is he talks about his dirt background and running those off-road stadium trucks where he had to use the pedals to turn the truck and to manipulate the car, and that's what he does here so well. He uses the brake, the throttle in unorthodox ways to get that car to do what he wants. And so when they went to the slower downforce package this year, Chris Daniels told me he was very excited thinking about being able to use those pedals like he has in years past.
Way up the racetrack there for Jimmy Johnson.
That's what this track provides, especially with this package. With the low downforce, high horsepower, it really opens up the racetrack. You can go way up the track. That guy on the bottom can't get in the gas and wrap the bottom. He's just as slick down there as it is for him on the bottom. So you drive to the top, get to the gas sooner, carry speed off the corner down the straightaway. Right here, look at the gain. He's gonna run right up to the back of this 3 car down the straightaway. Just keep doing that lap after lap after lap. Get on his right rear quarter panel out here. Force him out of the gas on corner exit. Look at this. Look at the run you get. Man, I love that, running that top side.
Now he's got to make the bottom work, though. He's been running to the top. That got him in this position. Now he has to quickly adjust his driving style. You cannot drive the car the same on the bottom as you do on the top.
He gains a spot, and that helps him as far as the playoff points that he's been looking for. Denny Hamlin, though, leader here at Dover. In the second stage, the NASCAR Cup Series Drydene 311 from the Monster Mile. Still out front, Denny Hamlin. Well, tonight, second round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are going to begin on NBC. Dallas versus Colorado. It's game 1. Their best-of-7 series coverage starts 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC. And let's go through the field, brought to you by KFC. We'll start with Dave.
Why not, Rick? It's a great day for Through the Field, and Denny Hamlin is having a good one so far, leading this field. One thing he needs to know is what the competition is doing behind him. They're telling him Truex is wrapping that bottom center just a little bit better than he is. Parker?
Well, Dave, right behind him is teammate Martin Truex Jr. running in second, which is better than third, where he's finished the last 5 races. But in talking to his crew chief, James Small, about these doubleheaders, he said, you know, I'm not a big fan. I said, why? He goes, because we know we want to win that first one, because we don't feel like you can put the best product possible in that second race, knowing how much you have to tweak these bodies after they've run 311 laps at Dover, Dave.
Clint Boyer is headed to the playoffs for now, 14th out of 16. That's kind of the danger zone. So I asked his crew chief, Johnny Klausmeyer, what he needed points-wise going to Daytona next week. He said 30 or 40 on the gap. Right now they're plus 77, but today's a long day, and there's one more tomorrow, Dylan.
Brad Keselowski runs in the 4th spot day. This is pretty consistent with where they felt like they would run. This year feel like they've been really solid. They have multiple wins, but not the number of wins that they want. They're always hungry, looking for more. 2 straight finishes of 13th or worse coming into this weekend. Looking so far so good for BK. Parker?
Also looking good for Jimmy Johnson, Mr. 7-time and 11-time winner at Dover. Very happy at race car. And if you look at those points, he's in the playoffs right now, 3 over his teammate. I asked Chris Daniels about racing against their teammate, and he said, you know, it's odd because I've worked with Chad, I've worked with Jimmy so often. I want all of us to make the playoffs. We'll see if that's possible. Dave?
Dover International Speedway looks symmetrical when you look at it from the air, but the ends are definitely different. Turns 1 and 2 right there for Logano. They are good. It's turns 3 and 4 where they're trying to make adjustments and help this driver, Parker.
Behind him, Kevin Harvick has had an incredible last couple weeks. Aside from the Daytona Road Course last week, his results have looked like a great golf score. They're so low every time. It's been amazing. I asked Rodney Childers about that. He said, you know, the big thing is Kevin Harvick races off of markers. When he has a notebook, he's incredible how he can pick up where he left off. Even it was 4 years ago. That's why the the Daytona Road Course didn't go so well, but coming here, because of they had a lot of confidence, Dylan.
Austin Dillon runs in the 8th spot after staying out during stage number 1. They raced on old tires, learned so much about what this race car can do. Expect them to maybe make a call similar to that if the opportunity presents itself. Austin's been pretty happy with the car as well on this run. Hasn't said too much about the balance, just trying to maintain right now as he runs in the 8th spot. Right behind him, right below him there in that green car, the 18, that's Kyle Busch. Bit of a different story for him. He has not been thrilled with the handling of his race car, balancing a free landing, tight off condition. They've taken a couple big swings at it down pit road. Seems to be a little bit better. Kyle's been a little quieter on the radio here during this green flag run, but never perfect. Always trying to improve the 18, Parker.
Another solid run for Eric Almirola inside the top 10. Coming in here, he was very excited. If you remember for the fall race 2018 when they last ran this package, he led 64 laps, came very close to winning that race, and he's thought ever since then he could win here, Dylan.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. runs in the 11th spot, putting together a nice afternoon here at Dover. He likes this place a lot. Kind of takes him back to his dirt track roots where you can manipulate the car based on your handling. You can move around, run high, low. You see him running up there against near the outside wall. He likes that. He likes being able to kind of self-medicate his race car, doing that well right now as he runs 11th, Dave.
Ryan Blaney has described his car today as wicked loose, but remember he started back in the 20th position. Oh, trouble down there in the bottom of the track, guys.
Yeah, spinning right onto pit road is Quinn Houff, 22-year-old from Virginia. Doesn't bring the caution out, but you saw him create a little smoke there. And we'll let you pick it back up, Dave.
I got a little excited there. Saw a little smoke spinning cars at Dover. So Blaney, remember why he started 20th? That new lineup metric they use relies heavily on last week's finish, and he was 31st at the Daytona Road Course. So he's trying to make a long day better for the 12. Parker?
Tyler Reddick running in 13th has had an incredible rookie campaign. The only thing missing is a win and finding themselves in the playoffs. Randall Burnett, his crew chief, told me we expected to make the playoffs, and then we've had a bad couple weeks. He said the biggest problem, we have not been able to score stage points. Right now, he's 3 positions from doing that in stage 2, Dylan.
Parker right behind him. Cole Custer rides in the 14th spot. Crew chief Mike Schiffler talked about the value of double headers for this rookie driver. Practice is the race, so they want to try to have a solid day today, apply that to what they learned and how they race tomorrow. So running nice consistent laps inside the top 15 today, Dave.
Recovery day right now for Eric Jones. Remember, involved in early contact with that 20 car. They've repaired it. They've made their way back up to the 15th position. So it's kind of the way it's been lately for Eric Jones. Bad news, you make the best of it, and sometimes you can find yourself in a much better position, Rick.
Yeah, great work, you guys. That was awesome information. Top 15 there running and where they're running.
Show William Byron right here. Still back in the 24th position, guys, right now. 3 points out of the playoffs. -3. He came in here pretty comfortable. Let's hear what those guys are talking about.
Dude, I'm trying. I don't know what to do. Tell you what I see, or just let me let you run like try to help. I run like because I can't get in the corner right now. I'm trying. I don't know what to do. I can only drive as hard as it'll go.
There you hear it, man. The tempers and the frustrations are playing out on the radio with that 24 bunch. It is definitely playoff time. That is exactly, and I'm sure that's not the only radio that sounds like that, Steve, as the pressure's starting to build as we close in on the final few races of the season.
Yeah, the pressure's starting to build and the laps start to tick away, right? 115 complete, 196 laps to go. You're concerned because the leaders are coming. You're going to lose a lap. Look at this right here, that 0-0 we thought might have spun out. I actually think, Rick, it just showed how tough it is to get to pit road. I was with Dave. I got all excited when I saw the smoke that we might have seen a yellow. Instead, it's just a struggle. We bring that up because if the caution doesn't come out, they will have to pit under green in this stage. NASCAR's adjusted these stage lengths, this second stage, longer than normal, which will add a required pit stop for fuel.
We heard that radio transmission. Between Chad Canels, the crew chief, and the driver, William Byron, of that 24. What Chad is looking at is data, saying, look, I'm looking at the data. This is where you're getting beaten. And what William is saying, well, yeah, that's because the car won't let me do what I want to do. I know that's where I'm getting beaten. You got to fix the car so I can do what you're asking me to do. Until you fix it, I can't. and that is a typical confrontation that driver and crew chief have had since the beginning of racing, right? I need you to do this, and the driver's like, well, make the car do it so I can do it, and that just is what happens in motorsports.
Well, the other thing I think worth pointing out is I struggled to make out some of the words in that radio communicate. You know, they aren't sitting next to each other having a calm conversation. There are noise in the background. Dover's one of the louder racetracks, just the bowl shape with the stands the way they are. You know, that agitates the situation as well when you're trying to make everything out, and then you start to talk louder, Rick, and I think that makes everybody more agitated, so it's just so hard to communicate.
Guys, let's don't forget about Chase Elliott. We saw him running really well earlier, got some damage on the left front, fell back. They took some time to fix it, and when I look at timing and scoring, quite frequently the fastest car on the racetrack is that 9 of Chase Elliott.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike, an Army family who's always at the ready. So when they got a little surprise, they didn't panic. They got a bigger car for their soon-to-be bigger family. After shopping around for insurance, they called USAA, who helped find the right coverage for them and even some much-needed savings.
That was the easy part.
USAA insurance is made the way Liz and Mike need it. Easy. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Wendy's famous 4 for $4 is heating up with the new Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich. And yes, you can get it with spicy nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. Is it getting hot in here? Or did the Queen of Spice just deliver the hottest deal in fast food?
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go.
What is it?
From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
We could never do what they do, but what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
Wendy's famous 4 for $4 is heating up with the new Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich. And yes, you can get it with spicy nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. Is it getting hot in here? Or did the Queen of Spice just deliver the hottest deal in fast food?
I am the future, and I am now.
How about winning Daytona?
I am a face you may not know, with a number you may not know.
Ross Chastain back on Algar.
But you will. Trust me, you will. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
NASCAR's official app puts race coverage and live in-car cameras right at your fingertips. You can unlock the premium content today with a free trial. Just search NASCAR in your app store. You can visit NASCAR.com/mobile. And Denny Hamlin in the 11 just goes by the 24 of William Byron, putting him a lap down. So the radio communication we heard earlier probably isn't going to get a whole lot better.
Now the pressure's real, and you could see the pressure building as the 11 caught him. And the 24 and William Byron, trying to stay in front of the 11, had a huge moment off turn 4. Ultimately had to give up the spot, and now the 95 is not going to be much of a battle for Denny as well. Let's take a look at that. So right here, the 24 trying to throttle up, and look at this. That is a big slide at a very narrow racetrack. So we listened into the 24, and we heard the excitement of trying to improve their car from the back and the agitation of both their voices. Well, the difference is clear when you listen to the 48 currently running 5th.
Second impact is not big, that's a problem. Is your entry still okay? Oh yeah, lots of margin there. Still tight everywhere, but second impact is the tightest. Yeah, it's just hard. We took a big swing at it there. Really all that did was keep up with the track. We'll do some more. Keep taking care of it. Be smart.
And I don't think this is a personality comparison. This is a pressure and position comparison. Because I feel confident that if you take Jimmy Johnson back to a lap down and you flip him with a 24, you know, the agitation on the radio moves with it. You see the difference. Came in minus 25, currently plus 2. Things are going right for Jimmy Johnson, and you hear the patience, the calmness, the very direct demeanor on the radio. Not quite the same for William Byron in the 24.
And he's talking about the second apex. Now, where is that second apex? Let's ride along with him down into turn 3. This is the first one right here where the car lands. Here comes the second apex on corner exit of turn 4 right here. That's where he wants help. Says the top car's super tight, worse at that part of the racetrack. Help me there.
And he also made the comment, how are you on corner entry? He said lots of margin there, meaning you do not have to worry about me being too loose in the corner entry. Fix the exit, fix that turn for that second apex. Ignore the entry. I got enough room on corner entry. That's a big advantage, right, Steve? Because now you can get aggressive. Now you can go make something happen.
Yeah, that one would have got underlined in the notebook a couple times.
Parker.
Well, guys, after he had that pit stop issue earlier in the race, Kevin Harvick flew through the field, but his progress has been a little slower in this stage. Hazel, take a listen when he had to say on the radio.
Still pushes like a dump truck. He pushes everywhere, except the entry. Once I get early center, just start shoving the front tires. Gets worse as I go around the corner.
So, Steve, I've used this term, and I don't know why, because I have absolutely no idea why a car would push or how a dump truck pushes. But obviously that term just never going to go away. Very tight car for Kevin Harvick.
The dump truck. They always like to, see, caught my attention right there. Kevin Harvick reaches over and downshifts, coming to pit road with 52 laps to go. There's fuel on board, only 57 complete. I don't know if he felt something or if this is a strategy call.
Look at the sun on his on the dash. He's holding his hand up so that the sun, he can still see his dash.
You know, we talk about pushing like a dump truck. You have to wonder if he felt something with the right front or if Rodney Childers just says, hey, let's gamble. Let's put some tires on early. Everybody has to pit in this stage here at Dover. It looks like a pretty clean pit stop on the right, maybe a little bit slow on the left. Big adjustment in the left rear wedge wrench, and just like that, he pulls away, and then we'll look at Kevin again, see if he puts his hand out to block the sun. Might only be there in turn 4 because you can see his dash pretty good here.
Hey, Steve, you can split the rest of the race now, right? Just pit one more time?
Well, you're going to pit at the end of the stage regardless. You're not going to be able to stay out with 51 laps, but you can definitely make it to the end of the stage. My concern is that how much time you lose at a 1-mile racetrack. My other concern is that we have seen some mechanical gremlins. Parker.
Well, Steve, I think crew chiefs are noticing there's been a fair bit of fall off here, so it's been a short pitting. Martin Truex has continued to be loose. You saw that adjustment in the right rear. Ford Goodyear tires are no field for him as they try to join Kevin Harvick in the short pit, Dave.
Eric Jones has been complaining that the 20 car is, quote, on top of the racetrack. That's a condition you don't want. And so he'll get 4 fresh Goodyears and a Phillips Sunoco fuel as he brings his Toyota to pit road. The 14 of Clint Boyer, that car's been pretty good, but the front was a little bit lazy for Boyer. And so Boyer will get an adjustment on his Mustang to take it through. The 22 of Joey Logano, well, it's not turning like it was. You want the perfect feeling in your car at some point during the race. He doesn't have it now. He felt like the front tires were giving up. His team will give him 4 more and send him back out.
A lot of green flag pit stops taking place now. We see on the left side of your screen, Denny Hamlin, race leader, has come to pit road. Brad Keselowski now out front.
It's a racetrack. You see a lot of speeding penalties. Dave, what do you have on Denny?
Down there, the 11 car finally brings it to pit road. He'll take 4 tires as well. Car's been operating pretty well. He'll just get, I don't think he's going to get any changes, certainly no chassis changes right now on the 11.
Austin Dillon in at the top of your screen. He's been building tight the last couple runs. They're going to make a track bar adjustment, raise that to free him up. 4 tires and fuel, and he's down and away.
Bubba Wallace also in the 43. You see Jimmy Johnson leaving now. Dave?
Bubba Wallace brings that 43 onto pit road with new sponsorship. That's good to see for him. Over-rotating the center. That's what his complaint was. They'll make a change for that, Dylan.
Brad Keselowski headed down pit road as well. Fairly happy with his race car set. I don't think I'd change anything major, but they are going to make a little bit of an air pressure adjustment on the right side tires just to keep Brad happy over the course of a long run. Cole Custer in as well as he works down pit road in his stall there. your screen. He's still battling a tight center off condition. Going to try and get that freed up for him over the course of the long run as well.
It's one of those racetracks, Rick, I get really nervous during green flag pit stops because that pit road is so hard to get on. We have seen drivers spin out. We've seen drivers hit the barrels. Creates a caution, can really split the entire field up as we see the 9 of Chase Elliott on pit road here now. Dave.
Speaking of seeing, Steve, you can't miss that car this weekend. The green number 9 for Chase Elliott. He brings it down. Last pit stop, they worked on it quite a bit. They fixed the damage that they had gotten from contact with a 14. They did a wedge adjustment, track bar adjustment, and put some packer in it as well. This time looks more standard. 4 Goodyear tires in Sunoco fuel.
Keselowski has come to pit road as well. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is now up front. Kyle Busch running second. And Kyle Busch is now on pit road. Dylan.
A Kyle's latest reported, by the way, another bright green race car to add to Dave's point here. Kyle's just reported that he's really, really free in. So we're going to try to figure out a way to keep that race car from spinning out on him. Just air pressure adjustment for now. 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel for Kyle Busch. Trying to claw their way back here after getting mired back in the pack a little bit earlier.
How long can they stay out, Steve? And will somebody try to go the length as far as the fuel run?
Well, I think William Byron's kind of pushed into that corner. We documented how he was lapped on the racetrack. So, you know, if you pit with the leaders, you're going to probably stay at least 1 lap down. The risk of what Chad Knaus is doing right here is if you don't get a yellow, you might end up 2 laps down. But at some point, when you don't have the car, you got to take the gamble.
Benedetto is out front if we go NASCAR nonstop.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike, an Army family who's always at the ready. So when they got a little surprise, they didn't panic. They got a bigger car for their soon-to-be bigger family. After shopping around for insurance, they called USAA, who helped find the right coverage for them and even some much-needed savings.
That was the easy part.
USAA insurance is made the way Liz and Mike need it. Easy. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Get extra napkins when you order a hot and juicy quarter-pounder. A normal amount of napkins just won't do. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Gear up at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's during the Fall Hunting Classic. Your adventure starts here.
Don't be conventional.
Anthony Davis.
Be exceptional. Upgrade to Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil.
You own a lot of basketballs.
Yeah, I got a few.
Get 250,000 miles of protection. Upgrade to Mobil 1.
Awesome internet. It's more than just fast. It keeps all your devices running smoothly. With built-in security that protects your kids, no matter what they're up to. Protects your info and gives you 24/7 peace of mind. That if it's connected, it's protected. Even that pet camera thingy. Can your internet do that? Xfinity XFi can, because it's simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
I am the one. Back with a full throttle roar. I am the intersection of chaos, karma, love, legacy, family, and flag. I am the place where we can be as one, united from the 4 corners of our beloved sport. Back with one thunderous return. I am ready for you. If you are ready for me, I am NASCAR.
35 laps to go in stage 2. The NASCAR Cup Series. Drydene 311 from Dover International Speedway. And out front, it is Matt DiBenedetto driving for Wood Brothers. And they are sitting on 99 career wins. Looking for that magic 100. And Matt DiBenedetto is the driver who wants to give that to Wood Brothers. Right now, he's on a little bit of a different schedule. He stayed out. There are only 4 that have stayed out and that will still have to come to pit road. It's DiBenedetto, Byron, McDowell, and Alex Bowman.
Let's go back and ride along with Jimmy Johnson. Watch this action.
Oh, wow.
Pitting in front of you. Oh, my goodness.
All right, now hold on. I heard some laughing over that other booth.
Because I'm
no way y'all would have been laughing if you were Jimmy Johnson.
No, you expect when somebody's pitting for them to maybe give you a little notice, be on the bottom of the racetrack.
Be out of the way.
Woo. Yeah, we've seen that before at Texas Motor Speedway earlier this year. Cars pitting from the second, third groove can be pretty catastrophic.
All right, you want to hear the radio from the 48? Take a listen.
Oh my God, who the was that? I don't know, man.
That's right.
That's a great answer. Don't give him, even if you know, don't tell him. Be like, I don't know.
I expected nothing less. And he's still going to want to know when this race is over with. That was pretty close.
Well, I'm not going to incriminate him on here. I'm not taking that responsibility.
Who was that? Oh, my.
It's a great battle right here for 10th. Joe Logano, Kyle Busch. 17 car right there. Chris Buescher's a lap down. Kyle kind of working his way slowly through this field. Doesn't look like he's got an amazing race car, but he's slowly getting up through there. Got a great run here to the inside of the 22. Using that high line to create that momentum. Making that pass on the bottom can be difficult. Looks like the 22 is going to let him have it.
Breaks into the top 10. And again, there are 4 cars in front of him that have yet to stop, that have to still stop.
Yeah, 22 struggling there. Joe Logano had a little more speed earlier in the race, but it looks like this car's not handling very well. Getting a little pressure from Chris Buescher from behind here.
And you see Jimmy Johnson's behind these guys. He was in front of them before these pit sequences started. He's lost some positions. Not sure if it's a slow pit stop, slow on or off pit road, but he's definitely lost some spots here. Those are things in the race, Steve, that you, at the time when they happen, it hurt your feelings. You look back, you may not ever get them back.
No. It's a race from green to checkered. I know there's yellows mixed in and stages mixed in, and people think that resets the field. It doesn't. It slows the car down. It does not reset the field, right? The positions you've lost, the time you've lost, sometimes there's no chance to get it back. Another guy that I'm watching on the timing, you talk about giving time up and gaining time. The 19 of Truex has chewed up Denny Hamlin's lead. It's down only about 0.4 of a second for the third position, a couple cars in front of him, but both of those two have made pit stops.
Here, Jimmy Johnson did indeed have a slow pit stop, 18-second pit stop.
That'll do it. That would have been a stopwatch in my day. Anything over about a 15-second, I would throw a stopwatch, so that would have definitely cost us a stopwatch. Not my finest moments.
Off the roof of the 19 car, Martin Truex Jr. Toyota Camry. Listen to the throttle. Can't really get to it. Man, he wants to go to that throttle, but he just can't get full throttle till you get up on the straightaway. There's Denny right in front of him in that bottom groove.
And as the pit stop cycle through, again, DiBenedetto and Byron are in front of Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr.
Listen to the patience. Takes
DiBenedetto
much
just
patience to stay out of the throttle, not overcycle that. Here comes the 21 on the pit road.
I'm very interested to see, is it 4 tires and fuel and committing to this strategy, staying out at the end of the stage, or to do something crazy to shorten their time on pit road? I think their best bet here, Rick, is 4 tires and hope they get, either lucky by staying out at the end of the stage. That leaves William Byron as the lone man on pit road. Dave.
Yeah, what happens ahead of you definitely sets your strategy, and then strategy changes, and then there's another strategy. So as the race continues on the left, he'll take 4 tires, he'll get full of Sunoco fuel, and then Greg Irwin will go back to work and figure out what the next strategy is.
So as we see the 21 lead, the 11 and the 19 now are racing for the lead. They've bypassed William Byron to the 24. We know Byron has to be coming pretty soon.
Yeah, now that he's no longer in the lead.
Well, he still stays out until he has no fuel left. I mean, he's pot committed at this point.
He's hoping for a caution right now. If he could get a caution, that would get him back. He'd be at the very least be in the lead lap.
Hope to see a caution and not be the caution.
Yeah,
there's always the magical thing you're looking for. I like to watch this 24 right here. Jimmy Johnson, we talked to him this week on a Zoom call, and he talked about the delta, basically the difference of grip on the banking to on the asphalt, and his opinion was the biggest of any track we go to. So when you peel off the banking, Junior and Jeff, he says that even after all these races, he still gets on that asphalt, and oh man, I've overshot. I'm not going to make pit road. He barely makes it. Now, William Byron on the oldest tires of anyone out there, will he be able to get to pit road successfully?
You have to lift on the back straightaway, way before the corner, because you got to be able to get onto the apron in the middle of the corner to be able to make that pit road. I've missed it before. A lot of drivers will miss it in their career. This will be a tough one for this 24 car.
William Byron hanging on to a third spot. Sitting in third now, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr. running 1 and 2 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Byron is third, fourth, Clint Boyer, Keselowski, McDowell, Harvick. Boyer, Keselowski, Harvick, McDowell all driving Fords, and we see Almirola on pit road, Parker.
Trying to catch up with this one, guys. Ryder is actually on pit road. I know he was struggling the right front a little bit, had a vibration. I'll have to check in and find out if that's why he came down.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing up here, Parker, is that the 10 finally got to a point where he just couldn't ride the vibration out, had to come to pit road. Check in maybe and see if it was a wheel or a tire, but either way, Eric Almirola pits under green.
NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Drydene Performance Products, the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication. Drydene.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by McDonald's. Dylan.
William Byron, we just saw him come in there. Remember, we talked earlier about how tight they were. All those changes, I think, have worked because Williams said it was too edgy on corner entry. He wanted to be tightened up on entry. So they made that adjustment, that air pressure adjustment, and then just took 2 tires, as you saw as well.
All right, for that 2-tire call to work, William Byron is going to have his hands full with 13 laps to go as he enters the back straightaway. 1 lap down to the leader, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is on the same straightaway. So now, with only 2 right side tires and 13 laps to go, he has to stay only 1 lap down. There you see it, the 24 and the 11. I know it's easy to say after, but I really think it would have been better to take 4 tires and then just take the wave around, unless, of course, the 78 blows up or whatever he's smoking for. Take 4 tires and take the wave around and 12 more laps, Rick, I think would be a better option for the 24, but we'll have to see if this works out. Can he stay only 1 lap down with 12 laps to go?
Tire rub for the 78 of B.J. McLeod.
Pace looks good, actually. That set of corners, even on 2 tires. We saw Dylan stay out on old tires, drivers. It seems like these 2 right side tires are working so far.
All right, guys, we talked about pitting under green and why it's so difficult at this racetrack. So let's go right along with Martin Truex Jr. Listen when he lifts. Almost to the bridge, that crossover. This is under a normal lap. All right, now we're going to ride along with him. And this is when he lifts coming on pit road. Way before the bridge. That's something that's counterintuitive at most racetracks. You don't expect to lift sooner when you're going to slow down. You expect to drive in the corner deeper coming to green, to a green flag stop. That's why so many people have trouble here. You have to back up that entry, really slow down. If not, you will miss the pit road entrance.
Another great battle here with 18 car Kyle Busch documenting his climb through the field against the outside of the 4 car of Kevin Harvick for 5th place. Right in front of him, Brad Keselowski in that 2 car is the next position.
Just a little bit of housekeeping as well. We saw Eric Almirola on pit road because of that vibration, Rick. 2 laps down currently in the 29th position.
There are only 16 cars, now 15 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney running 15th.
I like this longer second stage, Rick. Force these guys to get their car better. Force them to make green flag pit stops. That was the idea with this longer stage, and I'm a fan of it. I think the race is a little more straightforward when you can run the first and the second stage without a pit stop.
That 18 car is fast, guys. They have made that car much better than it was earlier.
I'm not jinxing him.
Look at that
talking
top.
about it.
Yeah, look how fast he rolls the center of the corner, running the top.
That's what Adam Stevens has always said. He said, we get better throughout the weekend. Well, when you don't have practice or qualifying, you can't improve until the start of the race. And so they're improving in the middle of this race. I wonder how good he's going to be tomorrow in the second race of the doubleheader.
Yeah, I think, too, this has a lot to do with the package. You know, taking that rear spoiler off the car so these guys can move around and can run close to each other. Really suits this racetrack much better. You're using all of the racetrack in the corner.
It's fair to say Kyle Busch is not a fan of that other package either. A lot of close calls on this racetrack. Martin Truex Jr. working lap traffic. Whoa! I'm sure Martin's wondering, what in the world? Giving you plenty of room.
Yeah, these cars, it's so slick. You know, in the banking on the straightaway, it's 9 degrees, but it feels like much more than that. Guys kind of wander down the racetrack into the right front of your car sometimes.
This is what I was talking about, Rick. Here's my concern with this two-tire gamble. You do it to save a lap, but your car's not good enough to stay on the lead lap. Or, excuse me, to stay one lap down. 4 tires would have put the 24 in the same position. Look at the disgust on Chad Knaus, the head shaking. He knows what needs to happen, but the 24 is just not good enough. Jeff, what's the difference between 1 lap and 2 laps down? It's forever. So many options, right, when you're only 1 lap down. Now at 2 laps down and old left side tires, he can't stay out in 4 more laps. He's stuck.
Yeah, that's the problem. He can't stay out. He's going to have to pit. And otherwise, to your point, he could have put a 4 on, fill it with fuel, and go ahead and take the damage then, but not pit at the stage break and hope to get his lap back. But that was a gamble, right? Staying out for a long time was a gamble that did not work out.
But I'm okay with the staying out. It's the 2 tires, I think, was the missed call for the staying out.
And Steve, they know, I mean, through engineers, computers, they knew when he was going to come out in relation to Denny Hamlin, or at least a pretty good idea. If they do a 2-tire stop, they're on pit road for this amount of time. That means they get back out on the racetrack. They'd be just in front of the 11. So that was a Chad Knaus making an educated guess of, I think we can stay in front of him.
I would love to stop right now and ask Chad what the computer told him and see if it told him the truth or see if their program misled him.
Look at the points. Now this point battle projects out as if everybody's going to finish just like this. Keep that in mind. But remember the lead coming in here that William Byron had on Jimmy Johnson. And now, if everything stays the same, that lead is erased.
And how about, a point for Jimmy there as he gets by the 22.
Oh, look at there,
and a little contact. Bubba gets into the back of him.
Bubba racing hard here.
Last time, the 11 won the first 2 stages. He went on to win. That was Miami.
Remember, Joey Logano got into Bubba Wallace last week. Maybe Bubba just saying, you know what, I didn't like that last week. Going to give you a little shot and let you remember it.
So Denny Hamlin wins stage 1 and stage 2. Can he get back in his winning ways and get back to victory lane at the Monster Mile, the first race of the doubleheader from Dover International? NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Applebee's. Handcrafted burgers, all just $8.99. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans. And by Drydene Performance Products, the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication. Drydene.com.
Steve. Yeah, 19 of Martin Truex Jr. pits from the 2nd position. Says it starts really, really tight, then gets loose late in a run. He thinks perhaps it's on the front splitter. James Small makes some small adjustments right here to see if he can improve the 19. Martin.
Kevin Harvick also struggling with the front end of his race car, saying it just doesn't do anything for him, meaning it's very tight in the corners there, Dylan.
Brad Keselowski in the center of your screen said the front end went away, making a stagger adjustment. The left front tires are going on the left rears, the right front's on the left rear. They've done that for 3 different sets of tires. Front air adjustment as well for BK. Dave.
Denny Hamlin delivering stage wins today, but it looks like Martin Truex might have a little edge on him. Yes, Truex will beat his teammate off of pit road.
1 spot change between Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch, 3rd off of pit road. Make sure to check out the greatest selection of t-shirts, hats, die-casts, and much more. For all of your favorite drivers, just go to NASCAR.com/shop. Right now, I want to go to the NBC Sports Charlotte studio and check in with KP and DJ. All right, guys, expected, or is this what you expected this race to look like? DJ?
Yeah, I would have to say so. I said in the pre-race show that I thought Denny Hamlin was doing his best driving, his best thinking, everything this year, and he's proven that once again. But he's going to have to show something here because he's got his hands full with some teammates right behind him here in the last stage.
Yeah, I don't know if this is what I expected. 2 tires, 4 tires, swapping front tires for rear tires for front tires, and everything Dale Jr. said he wanted to see. Nothing but slipping and sliding all day long.
Well, we're enjoying it right along with you. And make sure to stay tuned. Those guys will be back for the NASCAR America post-race show, as well as IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship from VIR is going to be later this evening.
And Rick, Kyle Petty, a coffee lover like myself, I think he's on his 3rd or 4th cup from what I just saw right there. So the post-race show could be great. I mean, made after my own heart.
3rd or 4th cup of this stage.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's just the cup race. Doesn't count when he had it for the Xfinity earlier.
Right.
So you might want to put your seatbelts on, guys.
Oh, Cup 5. We've had a report. Cup 5. DJ's keeping track.
The coffee maker up here it gets used so much it's about wore out. We're not even halfway through our season yet.
The choose rule happening. And Kyle Busch is going to restart on the front row. He has chosen that inside line. Take a look at the points earned today. Again, you earned points finishing in the top 10 of each stage. And Denny Hamlin, perfect so far, winning both stages. Jimmy Johnson has gained 7 points. Remember, coming in, he was fighting against teammate William Byron. Byron was ahead of him in the points. Those are valuable points. Again, 2 races still to go before the playoff, before the end of the regular season. But every spot, every position, every point counts.
All right, Rick, we talked about the 24 and the options they had to pit. Remember, he was running with Matty D about 5 seconds behind him. Matt DiBenedetto did the opposite. Put on 4 tires, fuel, got back out there, and he actually took the wave around. Therefore, Matty D back on the lead lap. That was what I was hoping the 24 would do. Now we'll see if it pays off. It may not, but there was another option.
18 cars on the lead lap. We get ready for the restart. Aero coverage brought to you by Geico as we look down on Dover International Speedway. That's a horse track that's inside this 1 mile concrete oval. Back up through the gears they go to get underway with the final stage.
Joe Gibbs battle amongst the top right here. Kyle Busch going for the lead.
Oh, Denny Hamlin didn't get a good exit off of 2. He's going to have his hands full with Brad Keselowski for 3rd. Denny was 2nd. Chose to line up in that outside line. It's going to cost him a couple spots here.
And he went from leading the race back to 4th.
So now Martin Truex Jr. out front. Jimmy Johnson running the high line above the 9. Chase Elliott. Those two continue to fight. They're teammates as well. And Hendrick.
Chase Elliott has a really fast race car. That Ricky Stenhouse Jr. having a really strong day.
Sure is. I talked to him earlier today. Ricky Stenhouse told me, he said, we're looking for points. We're looking to have the best runs we can. He said, actually, last year I was running in the top 10 when I blew the right front, and he thinks his equipment is better this year. So not a surprise that he's running up here in the 10th spot now.
I agree with him. I think the team he's with now, I wasn't quite sure when he made the move over to 47 car, but he's brought some speed with him. His ability and his aggression. They're getting better and better as the season goes on.
Behind him, Cole Custer, a rookie. He's talked about making the adjustment to the Cup Series. Got that win earlier in the year. Now sitting here running 11th spot.
William Byron just behind them, but again, William Byron scored 2 laps down, running in the 29th position, Steve. So is this a huge mistake for that 24 team and the choice that they made?
Well, it definitely hurt. Now they just need to run enough laps to get a yellow where most of the leaders will pit. That way they can take the wave around. So all the 24 driver can do right now is move himself up into the pack. So he has a better chance of taking the wave around. The car just in front of him, the 41 of Cole Custer. We talk about these good runs. You know, remember, guys, he's in the playoffs with a win. And, Jeff, why I think that matters is not because he's going to go contend for a championship. He may. But think of the knowledge he's going to gain as a rookie, right? To be able to feel what the media responsibilities are. You know, what it's like to have the focus of being in the playoffs. It makes your rookie year even more valuable as you kind of move into your career.
Yeah, it certainly does, Steve. And on top of that, I just think that no matter what, if you don't make the playoffs, it feels like a lost season, right? And when the playoffs start and you're not in it, you feel like everybody's forgotten about you. Like you don't even you're not even included in the races. It is a horrible feeling as a driver and a race team.
Well, it sounds crazy, but as you look at drivers moving around, Rick, if I'm an owner or a decision maker at a team and I look at somebody's resume and he took part that young in his career, that's a big positive. I'm like, hey, if we can get our cars better and get him there again, it's not his first shot in the big show. Because I've had all these drivers that say it wouldn't matter and the elimination wouldn't matter, and then they all say, I was wrong. That pressure's real when you get to those cut races. So, he'll feel that pressure.
Let's listen into Cole's radio.
Cole, one thing I want you to think about on new tires, maybe you're rushing the throttle a little bit in the middle, trying to go back too soon, and that's lift on exit. Just wait just a tick so you don't have to lift on exit. That may help you on new tires to make them last a little longer.
I like that information from Mike Shiplett. So drivers, I ask you, he must be looking at SMT data, right, of other drivers to have that. Mike's never driven at Dover, so he's seeing what other people are doing successfully and relaying it to his young driver.
And in a fashion of calmness.
Yeah.
Right? Not, hey, you need to do this.
Right.
It's, hey, listen, I think if you tried this, right, I like that.
Well, if you're ever going to get a driver to listen to you, that's the only way to do it. Good battle right here for third.
I think that was a compliment, but I'm not sure. I'm just not real. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Slid in there. Yeah, it was slid in there.
I mean, it certainly was a voice of experience.
Drivers don't want anybody to tell them how to drive, even their own crew chiefs. Yeah. But, it is great information, and the crew chiefs do have more data and information than they've ever had before. So, it's no different, I guess, than having your spotter tell you, hey, man, are they making time on the high side? Where's the leader beating me? Where is he running? Where are the front guys running? Look at that two-car almost sideways. Almost wrecking, sorry. Yeah, he's going to have to give up this spot right here.
He was loose to the entire corner. He ain't going to give that best spot. He's going to keep fighting.
He's going to fight against the 11, see if he can hold on to it.
How about the middle lane down the backstretch, though? I don't think Hamlin's going to like that. The two ran like one lane off the wall.
Look at this. Watch Brad Keselowski. Gets loose right here, and it just keeps on and on and on. Never quit driving that car.
That's what we miss. That's what we've seen all day long from the Xfinity guys and the Cup guys is just dirt tracking it around this racetrack.
And then how about that? Like
still going down there. Look at him.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin right on that back bumper. Dylan.
But it's amazing what you guys were talking about. If you listen to Coleman Presley, who's Brad Keselowski's spotter, he is so detailed about telling Brad where guys are making up time on him. As Hamlin was starting to close in on him, he was talking about where Denny was better through the center of the corner on throttle. That's something that Brad wants to hear because it helps him adjust his line. But it's really interesting to listen to those two guys, Brad and his spotter, Coleman Presley, how they go through these races, because it's almost like Brad can't get enough information, and he uses that to his advantage to figure out how to hold these guys off.
Coleman is the son of Robert Presley. Coleman raced in Xfinity Series. Some of the better spotters, I think, are the guys who have experience on the racetrack. Look at that run Denny gets right here. God, Brad's car is out of control.
At some point, you just have to throw the towel in, don't you, and let the guy go by?
I don't know if Brad's that kind of guy, but looks like he's going to
this time, yeah.
Give it to him right there.
So he moves up the racetrack, tries to get his hands wrapped around that loose race car. Martin Truex Jr., remember, he's finished third the last 5 races. Well, he's running up front now as we go nonstop.
Here we have another burst pipe in Denmark. If you look close...
Jamie, are there any interesting photos from your trip?
Ouch. Okay. Boring. You don't need to see that. Oh, here we go. Can you believe my client Stieg had never heard of a home and auto bundle or the renter's good bundle?
Wait, you're a lawyer?
Only licensed in Stockholm.
What is happening?
Anyway, game show, Kumite, Cinderella story.
You know karate?
No, Alan. I practice Muay Thai. Completely different skill set.
If you're ordering McDonald's and your friend says they don't want fries, get them the fries. Or else your fries will be their fries. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go
is all just $8.99. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
From sandy blonde to jet black. When it comes to a great-looking gray-free beard, trust the new Just for Men. The easiest way to put your best face forward. The same great results in just 5 minutes at home. Just for Men mustache and beard. Be the better man you are and look the part.
Today tastes like staying in. Like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating. And a little bit like waiting. Tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
And remember, this is the first race of the doubleheader. They'll be back tomorrow, 4 Eastern, right here at Dover International Speedway. Again, points so important. A doubleheader from right here. And look at tomorrow's schedule. I mean, obviously, if you're a motorsports fan, what a day it's going to be. The 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. That's on NBC at 1 o'clock, as well as the second race for the Xfinity Series. That kicks off there. So flip back and forth. Enjoy the races from here at Dover, as well as the Indianapolis 500. I'll try not to spoil it when we come on for the Cup Series Dover, the second one, as far as who wins the Indy 500. If you're recording that, I want to make sure that you're able to enjoy the entire day. It should be a lot of fun. Take a look at the Toyota driver updates as we see Martin Truex Jr. out front. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, they're all running 1, 2, 3 right now. Joe Gibbs Racing has to feel pretty good about that. Chase Elliott, we've talked about how quick that number 9 is, and already he's been able to get by the 22 of Logano, so he's up to 7th. Here comes Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy's going to catch a slap car at the wrong place on corner exit. You see those guys in front of him drive away. Can't open it. You can't get into the throttle, commit to the throttle coming up on the inside of a lap car on corner exit.
I love riding on board, though. You know, at a track like this, you can just see not only how much the car moves left to right, the car in front of you, but you can actually see, like, the content. As we get closer to that 22, what I mean by that is that left rear tire in the wheel well, you see it bouncing up and down over the bumps. You know, this concrete track is anything but smooth. Really rough entering turn 3. That's one of the biggest trouble spots as you kind of go. This is a crossover bridge right here, and as you enter turn 3, a big set of bumps down here.
Junior called that railroad tracks earlier when we were watching the Xfinity Series race. It was like going over railroad tracks. Here's Alex Bowman. Remember the damage to the right front. That was early on in the race as he goes by Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, last week we talked about earlier there was some contact with the 22 car, Joe Logano and Bubba Wallace. Well, this was it from last week. Logano, an aggressive move down there on the bottom, got into Bowman, and Bowman got into Bubba Wallace. I would imagine that Bowman and Wallace weren't happy with that move. Really aggressive from Joey, trying to make something happen, but a bit over aggressive there.
Yeah, we were talking with Bubba Wallace earlier this week, and he made the comment. He said, hey, I was a little bit surprised running up where I was. I wasn't expecting to be up there in the top 10 and having such a great run. And then, of course, nobody knew about it because I ended up wrecking. You know, I got wrecked at the last lap there. So it was difficult for him, but he said it even surprised him that he was running so well there.
Yeah, and I heard Joey in an interview earlier this week, and he said, look, I may have gotten, been a little too aggressive, but I get paid to do 2 things. Number 1, pass cars in front of me. Number 2, keep the cars from behind me passing me. That's what I get paid to do. And sometimes I get a little too aggressive, and that's what he thought he did, but just trying to get more than perhaps he should have. But that's what you do as a race car driver.
That doesn't sound like an apology.
No, it wasn't. I think that sounded like an explanation. Apology and explanation, 2 different things.
It was one of those driver's apologies. I hate that. I hate that happened. Right? I hate that happened.
I hate that happened. As we're looking at Bubba Wallace, he's brought a couple different sponsors, DoorDash, Columbia, that have come in to the sport and to Richard Petty Motorsports. Still unknown as to what 2021 holds for Bubba. As far as where he will race, he said that every day he thinks they're making progress. And so You know, he's excited about the situation that he's in right now, and really excited about the fact that Jerry Baxter has come over and is crew chiefing for him now this year. He thinks that's going that much better.
The driver that has to be excited about his performance today is Clint Boyer, currently running in the 5th position. And guys, you talked about Daytona next week, a doubleheader at Dover. Who can it benefit? Well, Clint Boyer currently 80 points above the cut line. He's doing a nice job. Why it's not a win, and he's not guaranteed in the playoffs. What he's doing with this good run is taking the pressure of Daytona off. Remember, if he can stay above 16 and stay enough points above, he can make it where Daytona can be a relaxing trip for Clint Boyer in the 14 car. Dave.
Stephen, I talked to Klausmeier about his driver this morning. He said one of the reasons why he runs well here is he does very well wrapping the bottom of the racetrack. He knows how to make his car good right there down to that bottom line. The other thing that he does well, he knows how to set the car up to push it. You do have to drive aggressively, Parker, and you know that.
Right, Dave, you do. And one driver trying to drive aggressively right now is our leader, Martin Truex Jr., because behind him is Kyle Busch, who has been catching him the last couple laps. The reason being, Martin Truex came on the radio and said, I'm too loose again, and that again is around lap 30 in the run. From here on out, that car continually gets looser. Him and James Small tried to work on it, and you can hear on the radio how badly they want to keep this win. They desperately want to keep up in the lead right now, knowing they really want to get a win here soon, guys.
You know, Martin Truex Jr., we joke about it as far as how many different home tracks he has. I think he would consider Dover a home track for himself. So you look at his career here, 3 wins, ties for the most at any track. He's finished top 2 in both races last year, top 5 finishes, 6 of the last 7 races at this racetrack.
The one thing I love about his 3 wins, Rick, 2007, 2016, 2019. Why that matters is completely different styles of cars and rules, and you know, it's not like you just
different teams.
Yeah, it wasn't just one magical setup, right? He's found a way to get around here as well in different packages. I actually spent some time with his crew chief James Small on the podcast, and James is just a fascinating guy. Australian, worked on V8 supercars, came over, worked at RCR, then was hired by Cole Pern at the 78. I mean, he has a lot of racing experience, even though this is his first gig as a Cup crew chief. He knows a lot about racing.
You know, behind him is his teammate Kyle Busch. Kyle up there on that high line trying to make it work. But what a good day for Kyle Busch. And I know we're not accustomed to saying that with Kyle Busch running second, but they need some of this. You know, they need to be in a situation where they're running as well or better than some of their teammates. And they've really not done that a lot this year. So some positive momentum as we get closer to the playoffs for this team right now, Dylan.
Yeah, that's exactly the message, Jeff, that they've been trying to convey just throughout the course of this string of bad luck. They feel like this is the 6th or 7th race in a row where they've had the speed to do what they're doing today, which is run inside the top 5 for most of the afternoon and contend for a win here. But they do want to do just that. Even if they don't get a win before the playoffs come, they do want to just build some momentum and build some good runs in the bank so that they have that momentum and can start off on the right foot. So a ways to go still in this one, but having a day like today, I think will go a long way just for the overall morale of the team as they get ready to go for the playoffs here in a couple weeks.
Remember, he's the reigning Cup Series champion, and he's still winless as far into the schedule that we are.
Sports are humbling, aren't they?
Yes.
He's one of the best, too, at getting on and off pit road if we have a green flag pit stop late in this race. One of the most aggressive drivers we know. It's like Martin Truex, it really comes down to lap traffic. These guys are coming up on lap traffic continuously, and it's how Martin catches that lap traffic. 2 guys side by side right here. Well, how does that affect him? So he tries to get up there and get around them. That's an opportunity for the 18 to close. Now they're both going to the top of the racetrack. He's not going to be able to get into the gas here. This is going to be a chance for the 18 off the top to run down a couple more car lengths into that lead.
The gap right now, 0.6 of a second. Teammates, Martin Truex Jr. Again, the last 5 races, he has finished 3rd. Kyle Busch hasn't won
again
in 2020.
Right there, the 19, hard to get off of turn 2 there. 18 car is closing in on this lead, guys.
Let's go NASCAR nonstop.
Gene, did you know Geico is now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies?
That's great.
That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? John Stamos to knit you a scarf?
I'll finish, Gene. Enjoy.
Thank you.
I give.
Stop.
Stitch work is impeccable.
That's just a double fleck pattern with a reverse garter stitch. No big deal.
Is your hair this soft?
Softer.
Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th.
There was a time when brothers riding together meant fighting for the front seat. For the wildest ride. For the best view. To be the first one there. Or to catch the biggest fish. Well, at least the battles for the front seat are over. Luckily, not much else has changed. Toyota.
Get extra napkins when you order a hot and juicy Quarter Pounder. A normal amount of napkins just won't do. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Don't be conventional.
Anthony Davis.
Be exceptional. Upgrade to Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil.
You own a lot of basketballs.
Yeah, I got a few.
Get 250,000 miles of protection. Upgrade to Mobil 1.
We could never do what they do. But what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
Just 72 laps remaining. The NASCAR Cup Series Drydene 311 from the Monster Mile. All right, take a look at today's Ram trucks built to serve.
Yeah, track position is going to be so important. The 19 car won the race off pit road and has been leading this race, but we have another pit stop. And, those guys beat him off pit road, the 18-11. I think they can win this race.
Final adjustments. This racetrack changes a great deal. See how much rubber's on that racetrack. Going to have to be right when the checker flag falls.
And I know we're talking about winning the race, but let's not forget this is a double header. And if your car has no damage, you're going to race it again tomorrow. So every car on the racetrack, if I'm the crew chief, I'm filling my notebook. Rick, what do we got to work on for tomorrow?
Clint Boyer's having a great run. Here he is trying to get around Brad Keselowski. Brad's been really out of shape. Clint gets right up to the back, gets him even looser. Off turn 4 to the inside. Clint, he's not going to pass up any opportunities. With the season he's had, he's going to take every chance. Be aggressive.
Yeah, Boyer's up into the 4th position. So it is Joe Gibbs Racing 1, 2, 3. Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and then Boyer, Keselowski, Harvick all driving Fords. Chase Elliott, the highest Chevrolet right now in 7th. Logano 8th. Jimmy Johnson 9th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 10th.
Big question now with 69 laps to go is when the leaders feel they'll have to pit if it does stay under green. 51 laps on the tires or green flag laps on the tires. So they're inside their fuel window. If you're going to try to split this up evenly on tires, you're going to pit in about 8 more laps. But like I said earlier, I have concern with that. This is a racetrack. We've seen mechanical failures. We've seen people spin and wreck getting to pit road. So, if you have a race win, I think that gamble is real. But someone like Kyle Busch, can he take that gamble? Well,
look at loose.
Well,
Harvick was.
Might get a yellow right here.
That left front tire of Harvick's, man, was twitching, trying to control that car, and he did a great job not giving up the spot. Man, look at him moving. That left front tire is moving so much getting down in the corner. 18 car fading a little bit here.
Here comes Denny Hamlin.
Wonder if running that high line has hurt the tires.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason there's grip up there.
He's lost a little pace. Yeah, you're right, Steve. So explain to me what you mean by that.
So basically, you can see the color of the racetrack, how it's very, very dark at the bottom where all the cars run. That is that rubber being laid down, smeared into that rough concrete surface, making it smooth and slick. Up the racetrack, there's not as much tire tracks. You go up there, there's more grip, but guess what? It's taking more rubber off your tire to do it. So therefore, wearing the tires more, heating them up more, losing grip as you run.
And he hasn't been a little up the racetrack. He's been way up there.
Blazing the path.
Yes.
Remember, Junior, what we used to have a rule. You cannot be the first one up there. That was the only rule.
Don't be the first one.
That's right.
Let somebody else go up there and put the rubber down.
Just for the record, as a competitor, you never followed that rule.
I did.
I was going to say, you're up against the wall at about every racetrack.
It's so fast.
Literally, it was a rule without a punishment.
Yeah. Well, this right front tire came apart.
That one hurt.
Self-policing.
So, Steve, you mentioned it. Now 64 laps to go. They've been running for 56 laps since the stop earlier. We know that they could go about 90 as far as fuel.
Yeah, the big thing is, they're running mid 25-second laps. New tires, you can run low 24-second laps. So tires are a big advantage, and that's why the chess game begins, right? Who will be first on pit road? Do you dare follow them? If you hesitate, just 4 or 5 laps. That's not very long. That's 2.5 minutes to catch. All right, let me get my wits about me. 2.5. In 2.5 minutes, you can lose 6 or 7 seconds to somebody that's already on new tires. So you have to have a plan. You have to communicate with your engineers. Remember, in COVID times, it's restricted crew members. A lot of the engineers are at home. You're communicating either over chat or over intercom. Have a plan. A lot of information coming to the crew chief. They're going to have to dissect it in a very pivotal part of the race right here.
So think about Kyle Busch. We've seen him falling a little bit, right? He's gotten slower. He's 3 seconds behind. Why not come on pit road early? Come on pit road. Try to get those new tires on quicker to make some of that ground up. He's in good shape in points. He's not guaranteed to be in the playoffs, but he's in really good shape. Be a good opportunity for a guy like that to try to make up some ground.
Kyle seems to be complaining about how loose his car is. Maybe having to use that right rear tire up, trying to get that car to rotate off the top. 4-car of Kevin Harvick trying to run down Brad Keselowski for 5th place.
Kevin's not been happy with his car at all today. But still, as good as this race team is, still sitting here battling for 5th place.
He's coming to pit road. You hear him lifting, downshifting.
So it sounds like Harvick's going to be the first to pit road.
Using the motor to decelerate that car.
Chase Elliott also on pit road. Parker.
Right, Kevin Harvick, remember, was the first of the last round of green flag stops. Come down pit road. Ronnie Childers elected to get those tires on as soon as possible. You see that adjustment right here? That's because he's still very tight inside that 4-car, Dave.
Remember, Chase Elliott started the day on the pole and led laps early, but the 9-car just hasn't been the same since a little bit of damage on track. He has asked how the car is now. He says it's okay. It's just kind of built up on both ends. 4 tires and fuel, Parker.
Jimmy Johnson had to go around the 38 there. John Hunt Nemechek, a little awkward into his box. You see the adjustment in the right rear, still fighting tight landing for Jimmy Johnson. 4 tires as well.
Joey Logano is just a little bit loose in that 22 car, but the bigger problem now is when he exits the corner, the car doesn't want to turn. They're going to try to fix that, possibly with air pressure on the 22. Clint Boyer's on pit road as well. When they asked him about the balance, he said, fine, just let it go. So there'll be 4 tires of fuel for Boyer. Dylan?
Kyle Busch in as well at the top of your screen, saying that the car takes off really well, but as the run builds, feels like it doesn't compress on the right side. He gets loose. 4 tires and fuel and air pressure adjustment, Dave.
Ryan Blaney, another one of those Team Penske Mustangs. His car tight on the exit. It will not turn when he wants to exit the corner, so they'll make adjustments for Blaney's car. Here comes Denny Hamlin running P2 as this cycle continues. The 11 car a lot better than the 19 in turns 1 and 2, but he's really got to work on the 3 and 4, but he's been making progress as it goes along.
They had an issue on the right rear there, a little bit slow getting the right rear off for Denny Hamlin.
So as you see Denny Hamlin leaving the pit box right there, just in front of him, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. I was wondering if the position for the lead was going to change on pit road, because Denny Hamlin got the pit road as good as I have seen anyone get the pit road at Dover. Look at this right here. Here's the 19 of Truex trying to come off the banking. He gets slowed down. Well, look at the 11 close on him. By the time they get to the pit road speed, he's only 1 car length behind the 19. It was 15, 20 car lengths on the racetrack. So a great job by the 11 of attacking that pit road that's so dangerous here and gaining on the 19. We'll have to just see if that time pays off as the race progresses.
Brad Keselowski scored as the race leaders. You see on the left side of your screen, Cole Custer has just come to pit road. 4 cars on the lead lap. Those 4 cars will still have to come to pit road.
So now the question is, does Brad Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins think their best bet to win this race? Remember, they have wins. Are they on the full gamble mode? Do they say, you know what? We can't beat them heads up. We're not going to chase them to pit road. What we're going to do is we're going to stay on the racetrack, and we're going to hope for a yellow. Look at the pylon on the left side. 4 cars, you just said, Rick, on the lead lap. So if the caution comes out now, those 4 cars get to come to pit road and race each other. Everyone a lap down. Now they'll get the waiver rate, but they'll have a big advantage as that car, though, Junior is full of, it's a handful, isn't it, buddy?
Man, he is sideways.
That's the plan, though. I think that's the plan, what the two's going to do. Run long, right? Just, I mean, what do they care if they run 5th or run 10th? Why, I know that sounds silly. They want to win races. They need to fill that bonus bucket.
And he's got to be aware of the cars around him that they have 4 fresh Goodyear tires, like Cole Custer in the 41, who's going by him now.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do when you're on these old tires and you know everybody behind you has got new tires is to run that higher line. They want to go around. They can easily do that.
So DiBenedetto has come to pit road. Dave.
Remember, they took the wave around. They had pitted on lap 160. The leaders had pitted on lap 188. The car was tight just mostly at about the 2/3 point of the corner. He'll now get those well-used tires off, put 4 fresh ones on, and Sunoco fuel to the end.
So again, strategy being played. Keselowski out front. We're going to go NASCAR nonstop.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike, an Army family who's always at the ready. So when they got a little surprise, they didn't panic. They got a bigger car for their soon-to-be bigger family. After shopping around for insurance, they called USAA, who helped find the right coverage for them and even some much-needed savings.
That was the easy part.
USAA insurance is made the way Liz and Mike need it. Easy. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Creamy ranch, sweet and sour, spicy buffalo, tangy barbecue. Each McNugget, a chance to diversify your sauce portfolio. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
From sandy blonde to jet black. When it comes to a great-looking gray-free beard, trust the new Just for Men. The easiest way to put your best face forward. The same great results in just 5 minutes at home. Just for Men mustache and beard. Be the better man you are and look the part.
PNC Bank believes that if you can get a pair of goggles that helps you master your backhand, then you should be able to get a bank account that helps you master your budget. Virtual Wallet is so much more than a checking account. Clearly see the big picture of your finances and easily manage and grow your savings.
You see that?
Virtual Wallet for digital banking from PNC. It's time to get more from your bank.
Awesome internet. It's more than just fast. It keeps all your devices running smoothly. With built-in security that protects your kids, no matter what they're up to. Protects your info and gives you 24/7 peace of mind. That if it's connected, it's protected. Even that pet camera thingy. Can your internet do that? Xfinity XFi can, because it's simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
The greatest spectacle in racing, Indy 500.
This could be stacking up into an all-timer.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby. Expect anything different? The St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions.
.45 to go in the NASCAR Cup Series Drydene 311 from Dover International Speedway. And a big day tomorrow, of course, the 104th running of the Indy 500. That will be on NBC starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Marco Andretti is going to lead the field to the green for, again, the 104th running. And how about the Andretti family? So Mario and Michael are going to be in the Honda's fastest seat in sports, which is the 2-seater that goes around in front of the field. And then Marco will be leading the field. So pretty cool, the Andretti family be able to experience that. Actually, Mario joked, Michael thought he was going to be driving, and Mario said, no. There will not be, I will never drive in the passenger seat. I will be the one that is going to be driving. So a lot of fun for those guys.
Yeah, my buddy John Andretti would have loved to see Marco on the pole, and took so much pride in being an Andretti and what that meant. Be pulling for him tomorrow.
Yep, lost John way too soon. Right here, Austin Dillon still hasn't come to pit road, so he's being scored as the race leader. Has a 9-second lead over Martin Truex Jr., who has been on pit road. Denny Hamlin also. Kyle Busch, we have heard, might have an issue with the right front. We were listening into his radio a little while earlier. This is what he had to say.
Something wrong with the right front. Wheels are tight. Just won't turn, you're saying? Yeah, it's after a first lap on the track. I babied it, and it turned fine. And then the next lap, it just didn't turn, and it hasn't turned again since.
So basically, you know, the first initial statement obviously had Adam Stevens' opinion. He looked at the data from their air guns. Hey, the wheels are tight, just won't turn. The comeback is that it's that, right? He doesn't think he has a flat tire or a tire coming apart or anything. It just doesn't drive like he wants. You know, Junior, we've seen this before, right? The last run, it's time to go. You leave pit road, you push your car a little bit farther into the corner. Maybe the adjustment wasn't just perfect, and now it sounds like the 18 is too tight for the final run.
Yeah, this is probably the most rubber that's been on the track all day long. The track is probably tighter because of that. Late in the day, the track always kind of tightens up through the race.
You almost got to make a change. Whoa, Bubba Wallace real loose off the corner. You almost have to make a change just to keep up with the track. You don't make a big enough change, the track rubbers up and it just gets tighter and tighter. And a tight race car at Dover, not turning the center of the corner is no fun. Just cannot make lap time. You just got to wait on the throttle before the car points.
Austin Dillon being scored the leader, but in second. Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin in third. Those two guys will cycle to the front when Austin does pit, unless we get a yellow. And Dave.
7 laps ago, right after the pit stops, Clint Boyer reported, I'm really tight right now for some reason. Another tight race car, right? And they haven't quite figured out what it is. Clint's saying, is there a difference in stagger between the tires? Is something going on? They report that it's mostly exit from what the spotter can see, but Clint right now is backing up a little bit.
Let's go back and watch Clint Boyer a few laps ago. Got Chase Elliott behind him, putting a lot of pressure on him. Got him really loose getting in the corner. Chase drives underneath him.
We're hearing all these tight race cars. I know this is crazy, but I've seen it before. Dale Jr., you mentioned all the rubber on the racetrack. That's not just affecting the tires and how they grip the racetrack, but that front splitter, super sensitive. And I've actually seen where that front splitter will run on these concrete racetracks and get gummed up with the rubber and almost grow, if you can believe it, like get a little thicker. And as it happens, you know, you hit the ground, goes up the racetrack. Right here we see the 3 of Austin Dillon, the 20 of Eric Jones. Eric unlapping himself in the 13th position. I kind of think about this as the race what could have been. Remember, he was in that first accident, damage to the left rear quarter panel. So when we talk about drivers that have a chance to make tomorrow better in this doubleheader weekend, Eric Jones is perhaps the driver I have circled the most. Dave, I assume they're going to go to a backup car with that much damage. We're just going to have to see later. But either way, making the most out of a rough start.
That's right. Attitude, 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 Steve. And guess what his attitude is going to be going to Daytona next week if they are in any position, points-wise. They know how to win there. So Jones is not out of this playoff picture yet and trying to make a good day out of what started poorly.
Yeah, minus 30, Rick, in 18th. I mean, I know, 30 sounds like a lot, but you just don't know. You just got to keep grinding, get the best you can. I mean, he is having a good day, and that damage has really cost him stage points, has struck out in stage points. If they can do this well with this much damage, be interesting to see how well he can do tomorrow with a fresh race car.
Yeah, Eric said this week when I talked to him that he really felt like he needed to be within 10 or 15 points of that cutoff line going to Daytona. He also mentioned that, 2 drivers behind them in points have won races. Right? That's put a tremendous amount of pressure on those teams, this team in particular. Well, that's hurt them with an opportunity to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Jeff, look where his teammates are running right now, too. I mean, second, third, fourth to Austin Dillon, who's going to pit. That means they'll be running 1, 2, 3. So Joe Gibbs Racing has a pretty good setup here, a pretty good idea of what it takes to win on this racetrack. And right now, this is Martin Truex Jr. This is for the lead. And so Truex Jr. will drive by Austin Dillon before he even comes to pit road.
You know, as I'm looking at that last pit, one thing that jumps out, I was just talking about Eric Jones and where he is in the points. Well, all the way down in 18th, William Byron at lap 187 as well. He has to pit as well. And when that happens for the 24, they're hoping for a yellow. They're trying to make the most of the day. That's only going to help the 20. You know, he's currently minus 30, but that is way up there to William Byron. Well, let me tell you, when the 24 hits pit road, that's going to just give Eric Jones more points and make this fight back with a damaged race car more valuable.
Steve, we talked about it when we came on TV today, how important this race was. And it's playing out with William Byron. They have had a bad race, and now they're going to have a great race tomorrow to try to make up for it. Dylan.
Austin Dillon coming into the pits, again pitting from second on the racetrack, but he'll cycle out a little further down the leaderboard than that. Just reporting that he's been getting tight again over the course of the run. You saw the chassis adjustment there, the wrench in the right rear window, 4 tires and fuel for Austin Dillon.
All right, now that cycles Martin Truex Jr. to the lead. You saw him pass the 3. Now Hamlin is in second. There's the lead. But the situation is difficult for Truex because right in front of him right there, Ryan Blaney, that's not a slow race car. Truex is lapping a lot of cars on this racetrack and starting to get into lapping 13th place, 14th place. They'll be a little more difficult to get around as you see him trying to fight to get around the outside of this 12 car. Denny closing in within a second. That is what's going to decide this race. How Truex can get through the lap traffic. Without a caution, that is Denny's only hope, is to catch that 19 car in traffic. Parker.
And Dale, he just come across the radio recently complaining about some of the traffic, and the team was willing him on and willing him through that traffic, and especially his spotter to say, come on, we can get him here. So definitely pushing him through that traffic right now.
Yeah, it's easy to get around some of these cars, but as he gets into the faster cars, the air from those faster cars is what will slow him down. Now the 11 car's dealing with that same issue as he's trying to lap this 12 car of Ryan Blaney. He's got to find a way around him quickly so that he doesn't lose that advantage. And you see it, the gap growing as Denny is struggling. Now they're side by side. Denny's going to have to go 3 wide here. Put himself in an uncomfortable entry, very low into the corner. That's all plays a big role. The ebb and flow of that lead gap goes from 1 second to 1.5 seconds, just like that.
Let's go back in car. Watch what Martin Truex Jr. does to get by Blaney. Drives in the corner, goes to the outside. Listen to the throttle. Boom, goes to the throttle quicker than he normally would to get to that right rear quarter panel of the 12 car Blaney. He would never get in the throttle that soon unless he was just trying to jump up on the outside of Blaney. He had to get back off the throttle. But he wanted Blaney to know, I'm here, I got the spot. He wanted to take the air off Blaney's spoiler, get him freed up. Those are the kind of moves that you have to make as a driver. It's not always about making lap time. Sometimes it's about just putting your car in the right situation.
Does it add insult to injury as we see William Byron on pit road now? But does it add insult to injury when Martin Truex Jr. went by him, he was waving at him? He waved at him like, hey, thanks.
Well, he waved at him, yeah, as in appreciation for giving him that lane. He could have made him work a lot harder to get around him. I think that, you know, it's the track where you get it lapped often. It's a very short track, 1 mile. Not uncommon to be lapping, you know, 10th through 15th place.
Well, right now there are only 12 cars on the lead lap. Eric Jones is the last car.
That's a lot of traffic right here in front of Martin. The 10 car, competitive. Look at Martin chew him up though in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, Eric Almirola's not had a good day. He's already a lap down back in 18th place.
Martin couldn't get the gas off the corner there on the inside of the 96.
Just to clean up what we were talking about, you see on the left-hand side the 20 of Jones, now minus 21 with that pit stop from William Byron. So the bubble line has not gotten any clearer. 1 race in. Different names have moved around, but it's anything but clear.
Eric Jones in 12th, the last car on the lead lap, in a really, really good position, sitting there 21 points out. I know he thinks he needs to win, but it's not out of the, you know, not out of question for him to actually come out of this race tomorrow in great position or in the playoffs.
So this 10 car, remember, we said he hadn't had a good day. Remember, he had to pit under green with a loose wheel. That got him behind, but we've seen all year long, Eric Almirola in this 10 car is fast. So that is going to be a difficult pass for Martin Truex Jr. We'll see how hard Eric races him. He is already 1 lap down.
Martin suffering from a lack of downforce and comfort, having to run behind this 10 car, not able to catch him, not able to pass him.
And Eric's running the line that he wants to be running. Yep. Martin's been on the bottom, and that's where Eric's running. Martin would love to see Eric go to the top, give him a little bit of clean air.
Look at all these cars. This is going to cost Martin a ton of time. Hamlin's a second back right now.
Well, this set of corners right here, it's going to be 4 or 5 car lengths for the 19. When he comes off there in that traffic, look at that 11, the white car up against the fence, trying to get that momentum.
Oh, Martin couldn't get to the throttle on the inside of the 13.
Yeah, but for those guys being the way they were when he caught them, I think he's going to be pretty happy he got through them as clean as he did.
Gap is closed, though. The 11 gaining a bit on that 19.
Now they're catching Eric Jones up there, also in 12th place. So these passes are going to get more and more difficult. Going to slow that 19 of Martin Truex down. When will Martin have to change his line? See Hamlin up there on the top. When is Martin going to have to do that? Dave.
And Chris Gabehart, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, wants those 5 bonus playoff points bad. He wants him to win this race. 5 laps ago, he told him, lock in, machine. And right after that, he started searching the top, looking for a way to catch the 19, Parker.
And the reason he may be catching Martin Truex Jr. came across the radio once again and said he's too loose on the bottom. We've seen this throughout the runs today. As they get about 30 laps in the run, that 19 car shifts to the loose side, and it's up to Martin to manage it, knowing that it's fastest around the bottom.
We'll be talking to a lot of the drivers during the post-race. That's NASCAR America post-race show after the race here on NBCSN. Krista, Kyle, and DJ will give you all that information and get you set up for tomorrow's race. Remember, this will be the middle of the doubleheader.
I'm telling you, if Martin Truex Jr. doesn't find a way to get around this 10 car, the 11's going to get there. You see it closing in. Truex running that bottom in that dirty air. Even that distance right there is hurting that 19 car. Denny hoping that he can make that top work. Look at the run off the top Denny gets. Truex suffering right now, struggling on that bottom. I'm surprised as you, Jeff Burton, that he's not trying to go to the top to try to make something work.
He's complaining about being loose. Maybe he's afraid he's going to be even looser up there on the top. But there you go. There it is right there. Move to the top. Hamlin got close enough to him to force his hand. He had to try something different.
Let's see how that works out. It might take a few laps for a driver to sort of understand how to run that top. What are the inputs that he needs to use? Denny already knows that.
Yeah, no, right there, saw Truex kind of run the middle. Didn't really run the top or the bottom. That didn't work out well for him at all.
Running the same line as you, actually. He went higher. You gonna block him in behind that car up there. Come on, go on in here. Clear, clear, clear.
Yeah, I didn't really like that communication because that's not what happened down in 3 and 4 the lap before.
Oh, the lap car here might hurt Truex on corner exit. He's able to open the wheel up, get off the corner, but cost him a little bit of speed. Denny, a great run down the front straightaway off the top. Denny using that high line to create that momentum.
Truex went all the way to the bottom that lap.
Riding inside here with Martin Truex Jr.
See that middle lane right there, I'm just not a big fan of that. I think the 11's going to get a big run on corner exit. Yeah, that middle lane just doesn't work.
For the lead, here comes the 11. All over the back bumper of the 19.
He's loose. Big loose. He doesn't want that 11 to get to his right rear quarter panel.
Back. You're still clear by one. Clear by one.
Now go up the racetrack right here. Don't go to the bottom. Don't go to the middle for sure.
Oh, he goes to the bottom, the 11. If the 11 gets to the outside, that's Denny's position.
Momentum. Denny goes to the inside. Trying to make a pass.
Inside.
Clears the 19, slides up the racetrack. The 19 not giving up. He fights back on the outside, but Denny Hamlin has the spot.
Denny just took what he needed. Forced Martin to get out of the gas.
Martin just does not have the rear security. Look how loose he is. Just cannot get the rear lateral grip he's looking for. Got a report from Parker saying he gets looser as that run goes on, and that's exactly what's happened. Now Denny's got to deal with Eric Almirola.
Yeah, I think Denny, though, has the comfort in his car and the understanding of that high line and using it well to be able to get around him relatively easy. We'll see how that works out.
I was amazed the fight that 19 could put up with as loose as that car was. When you went on board, he was 90 degrees turned to the right at times.
Denny's got some great speed right here. Truex trying to put something together, trying to rebound, trying to put some corners together. He knows how hard it is to get around that 10. He's been trying.
Kyle Busch is 5.7 seconds back from Denny Hamlin. And with just under, well, about 6 laps to go now for Hamlin to the end of this race, Martin Truex Jr., as long as his laps continue the way he is, he's going to finish 1 spot better than he has the last 5 races. It was 1,000,000 to 1 odds that Martin Truex Jr. could finish 3rd the last 5 races. Well, he did.
There you go. The 11 gets the outside of the 10. And he's happy about that. He's got some clean air in front of him now, all the way up there to his teammate.
And now that he's gone 2 laps down, Eric Almirola, he's going to get out of the way. He was fighting hard, to keep from going more than 1 lap down. But once he went that, now is nothing for him to gain. He went ahead and got out of the way for Martin Truex Jr.
Under 5 laps to go. And the gap staying about the same between Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. Maybe one last effort, one last gasp, but trying to get back up there for this win.
You see the speed that Truex can carry through the middle of the corner, but he cannot complete it. So the line that Hamlin's running allows him to carry so much speed on corner exit, and his car's driving better. He just said, look at Truex behind him. Just no rear grip at all.
3 laps to go.
Look at that. You can physically see the 19 car, the back of the car moving around. How about Denny Hamlin, guys?
Incredible.
He is having an incredible year.
Yeah, I mean, a track he's never won at, right? So he's going to come prove his point that he can now win at tracks that we have yet to see him find success. There's only 9 on the list. The 8 after today if he's able to finish these last 2 laps off.
Yeah, I know he had to pass Martin Truex Jr. to win this race, but won all the stages as well.
23 races into this year, 13 top 5s. That's a career record for Denny Hamlin.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. He's seen the white flag again, 5 wins already in 2020. Looks as though he's going to tie Kevin Harvick for the most wins in 2020. Harvick has 6. Denny Hamlin looking for his 6. As you mentioned, he had never won at the Monster Mile before. Momentum definitely on his side as Denny Hamlin comes out of 4. And Denny Hamlin will once again see the checkered flag. He wins at the Monster Mile.
How about that, baby? No words over down from me. We are winners here. Awesome. Swept the race. Great job, guys.
Checkered flag moment brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Denny Hamlin said the one thing that has been difficult during the COVID-19 pandemic is that he wants to be able to celebrate with his team. He wants to be able to celebrate with the guys who he knows that are surrounding him, that are helping him, making him as good as he is. He wants them to be able to celebrate and cherish these wins just like he is. Great chemistry between driver and crew chief for this 11.
Denny, take care of that thing. We got to win tomorrow with it.
He's like, don't do a burnout.
That's exactly what Chris Gabehart was inferring. Guys, we've got another one tomorrow.
This team, they have positioned themselves as the clear favorite. I know Harvick and Rodney Childers have something to say about that, but these guys are rolling. A great battle for the lead right here. Truex, really loose car, trying to figure out what to do with it. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack, then gets stuck in the middle, and look at the run Denny Hamlin got. Truex not able to go back to the throttle. Denny Hamlin makes the pass for the lead.
Another 1-2-3 finish for Joe Gibbs Racing. Hamlin, Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin once again wins, and we'll talk to him in Victory Lane when we return. Denny Hamlin continuing to put together a Hall of Fame career. And still the one thing missing, a championship. Last year, going into it, it looked as though Denny Hamlin was the favorite. As much momentum as he had going into Miami. 43 wins now for Denny Hamlin. And he's second only to Junior Johnson. Most wins without a championship. He definitely wants to change that.
He's just got to get his mask on.
But he just continues to win races. And this team getting better and better. And Denny Hamlin is very good at Phoenix. There's a racetrack that we know he's able to win at. That's where the championship is determined. He climbs out in victory lane. And we'll celebrate. Check that track off of the list. Dave?
Then taking a look at that number 11 car, and this is as close as it gets. You guys just talked about it, the fact that it's a little rough for DH not to be able to celebrate with his mates here in victory lane, but you know, they get a fist bump there. That was an amazing run back to the front, and Chris asked you to be a machine late in the race. What was it like finding that line to beat your teammate?
Yeah, I've been running down the leaders these last few weeks, but I haven't been able to get there. But you know, we just didn't control that restart there, and you know, we just had to battle back. We had to go back and get it, and you know, just was able to work the top line there a little bit to get some momentum, and it looked like our car was just a little bit better at moving around different lines. But proud of this whole FedEx office team. This has just been this Camry was fast today. It was just unbelievable how good it was. Pit crew did an amazing job. Got to thank all the partners, Toyota, Coca-Cola, the Jordan brand, FedEx, all the employees. Appreciate it. And win 43. This is pretty awesome.
And it's pretty awesome that you won here finally at the Monster Mile after 29 times, Denny. What does that mean to you?
Well, people always ask, you know, when you have Q&As, you know, what's your least favorite track? And I always say Dover, just because I'm not good here. I love the track. I just haven't been very good here. But, you know, we just have unbelievable cars right now. It just seems like, you know, we're coming to the racetrack prepared. I'm putting the work in, and we're getting results because of it.
You talk about putting the work in. Chris Gabehart told me he always encourages everyone to compete with themselves. What are you doing, Denny, to make sure that you stay on top of your game?
Yeah, just working hard. Working as hard as I ever have, and you know, I can't complain about anything right now. It seems like we just got things going, and you know, I got faith. I just got faith when it comes down to it on that last run. When he says go get it, I just go get it.
Faith in himself, faith in the car, faith in the team. Another win for the FedEx bunch here this year, and the first at the Monster Mile, Rick.
I feel bad for the competition if he's not very good at this racetrack. And he was able to do what he just did, passing his teammates for the win. As we take a look at the Coca-Cola winning moment, that pass on Martin Truex Jr. setting him up, running the high line. That momentum carrying him front for Martin Truex Jr. And Chris Gabehart's happy about it. Denny Hamlin goes on and gets his 6th checkered flag of the 2020 season. All right, look at the playoff standings now. Only 2 races to go until the playoffs begin. That regular season championship out there up for grabs. Denny Hamlin adding to his points total. 37 playoff points. Kevin Harvick, 35 playoff points. Both of them with 6 wins and 3 points separating now Jimmy Johnson and William Byron. Those 2 right there on either side of the cutoff line. 3 points. Finishing in second, Martin Truex Jr. One spot better than he had the past 5 races. Parker spoke with him moments ago.
Martin Truex Jr. finishes second, and Martin, you just got too loose there then. What number did you need to hold off the 11?
Oh, really? I mean, I think if, you know, if the 10 car just wasn't pinning it on the bottom in front of me, I'd have been fine. And, you know, every time I try to move up, get some air in my car, he'd just slide up in front of me like an idiot. So, you know, he's the reason we lost the lead. But in the end, we weren't good enough. You know, I thought the 11 was better than us all day long. We got the lead there in the pits and was able to use clean air to our advantage. So I was never happy with the car all day long. You know, Sirius XM Camry was fast, but it was the balance was all over the place. And, you know, it was firing off tight and getting really loose in long runs. So at the end, just nothing I could do, just out of control sideways.
It looked like you were holding on. We went to your onboard. You were stealing full 90 degrees opposite lock coming off the corners. I mean, how do you hold on to it, and how do you fix it for tomorrow knowing you got to do this all over again?
I know we can definitely make it better. I mean, I'd hate to say we can't. I mean, it was pretty far off for what I like here. So we'll keep working on it. But, you know, overall solid day again.
Martin Truex breaks the streak of third-place finishes.
Yeah, and all smiles for Denny Hamlin. Martin Truex Jr. obviously finishing in the second spot. It was third the last 5 races. So momentum is on his side as well. He's already been to victory lane in 2020, so he will be headed into the playoffs as well. So the first race of the doubleheader wraps up. Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing looking very strong in this. Let's go to the drivers, and we'll start with you, Jeff. Were you expecting what we saw today as far as the handling that these guys had and fighting the tire?
Yeah, after watching the Xfinity race earlier today, I did think it was going to be like that. Cars moving around a lot. On top of that, lower downforce, more horsepower. So, yeah, not a big surprise. But Denny Hamlin, I mean, 6 wins so far this year. He and his crew chief, Chris Gabehart, are hitting on all cylinders. Big day for Joe Gibbs Racing. The top 3, that's positive momentum. I know Kyle Busch wants to win, but a good run for him today. So a really strong day for Joe Gibbs Racing. Can they build on it tomorrow? Can they do this again tomorrow? And who else can step it up and find a way to be a little bit better to race against these Gibbs cars?
Yeah, and on top of that, the bubble battle got even more compelling. Matt DiBenedetto lost a few points. Byron obviously slipped out of the playoffs. Jimmy Johnson steps in to the playoffs. Byron lost 28 points to Johnson today. And Eric Jones, I mean, he's not out of this at all either. Gained quite a few points today. So the great thing about it is usually this happens, and then we got to wait a week until we see what happens next. No, we got to wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow we get to re-rack them and see what these guys can do to avoid disaster or even improve on what they're doing.
Yeah, only have to wait about 20 hours to find out what's going to happen. And so, Steve, we see obviously some great racing here. Now, as far as the crew chief goes, what can these teams do overnight? What can they change on the cars? What can they work on for tomorrow's race?
Well, the first thing they need to do is see if this is the car they're racing. I know there are some cars that are obvious with damage. They'll be going to backup cars, but you have to kind of look at it. It might not be body work. Maybe something underneath the hood or underneath the back of the car is broken. That's unrepairable. They'll have to see if they can run this car. And then once you check that box, then it is how do we make our car better? There were cars I expected to run better today. I know Christopher Bell doesn't have Cup experience, but back at 22nd, I was expecting better. Matty D, as they mentioned, finished 20th. He'll be the pole sitter for tomorrow's race. Can they capitalize on that track position? Or a guy like Jimmy Johnson? Mission accomplished. Good day in the points, kept track position all day. Can Jimmy Johnson take a 7th place finish, a 7th place car, and make the improvements to run with the likes of Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr.?
We've been referencing the fact that the Xfinity race was run earlier. They also have a doubleheader. It was called earlier today. And Jeff, you and Steve, you kind of took the morning off, but you're going to be back at it tomorrow with DJ for that Xfinity Series race. What are you expecting?
Well, I think we're going to see another really good Xfinity race. I think that, especially in the Xfinity Series, a lot of young drivers, I think that having a race today that they can build on as we're looking now at a
loose lug.
Yeah, loose lugs on the 11 car. But the Xfinity guys, I think, will be a really good race because of the experience that so many of them gained today that they can apply to tomorrow. No practice, I think, really affects the Xfinity Series more than the Cup Series because of the lack of experience.
So it looks to me right there, they were looking at that left rear wheel. We just showed it. There was one lug nut not pulled up. That's been pretty standard. That's a small fine for the crew chief. It looks like the other 4 are pretty well installed in my mind. So nothing's going to affect the finish of this race. Just take a little bit of change out of the pocket of the crew chief, Chris Gabehart. I think that's about a $10,000 fine.
That's easy for you to say when it's not coming out of your pocket.
What are you talking about? I'd lean on the guy that just won the race and be like, "Hey, buddy, you've won a lot this year. I'm gonna look for you for this one."
Well, coming up, we'll have Krista Kyle and DJ will be giving us continued post-race coverage, hearing from more drivers, talking about today's race, and looking forward to tomorrow, the second day of the doubleheader for both Xfinity and Cup.
Welcome into the NASCAR America post-race show. Dover, Delaware, the site of today's first of 2 weekend Cup Series races. The monster looming large outside the track, and that is your race-winning car, Denny Hamlin, the number 11 FedEx Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing as the team pushes it back into the garage. And that car's going to be busy because, yeah, it has to go to work again tomorrow. That is the big story with these double-header races. Here in the studio with Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett. And Kyle, I guess Denny Hamlin sort of called his shot, or Chris Gabehart, the crew chief, did. He said, go, it's your time, because those 5 playoff points, that's what it's all about. Denny has wins. Now he has 6 total, but it's those playoff points as we get closer to the regular season ending.
Yeah, for a team like Denny Hamlin's, for a team like Kevin Harvick's, it's about playoff points. You know, the wins, they just keep stacking them up. We've seen this over the last 2 or 3 years between Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Martin Truex, those guys. But the interesting part was some of Denny's comments in that post-race interview a little bit. I have faith. I have faith I can get it done. They have faith in me that we can get it done. When they say go, I go. And that was pretty much cut and dry. We remember a few years ago when he said, all I do is win, win, win. Well, he's doing the same thing again this year. All he's doing is win, win, win. And he has faith in himself and faith in that team.
Yeah, I said in the pre-race that he's doing some, in my opinion, his best driving of his career. And I think that there's a lot of things that go into that. And whenever you have a day like today at this racetrack where tire management comes back into play, we don't hear that very much with all the downforce that they have with the other package of where they've got downforce, side force, the tires are good. You don't have to worry about that. But whenever you come with this 750 package and you have to maintain the tire that you have, Denny Hamlin's one of the best at doing that, and that's showcased today. So yes, I agree. They're chasing those 5 playoff points every week that they can, but I've seen Denny Hamlin's house. It's big. He wants to fill it up with trophies, so he's also chasing those.
Yeah, listen, my dad always said that. He said, when you walk through this house, you don't see points, you don't see money, you see trophies. That's what it's all about. And he's exactly right. But, you know, I think if you go back to pre-race, when Dale and I sat here and talked to Dale Jr. about what they had witnessed in the Xfinity race and the cars being so incredibly loose. Then you turn them loose in the Cup Series with more power, with less downforce, and you put it back in the hands of the drivers. And Dale talked about tire management. We saw Truex sideways, backwards, on the gas, off the gas, stabbing and steering. I mean, this was a race right out of about 1978. When you watch it, I know it was a short race, 311 laps, compared to the 500 miles they run then. But I'm telling you, some of these guys run more like a 400-lap race, steering all the way to the right. We heard Parker talk about all full lock to the right and back. That was the exciting part for me about watching these races. So many times we say, it's all about the car, it's all about the car. Put it back in the hands of the drivers. This was a race where a large majority of the race was back in the hands of the drivers to get the most out of a car that was not perfect.
You see Kyle Busch talking to his crew chief, Adam Stevens. It was a 1-2-3 sweep for Joe Gibbs Racing. They did that 4 times last year, including the title race at Miami, which, of course, Kyle Busch won and went on to win the championship. Kyle Busch still looking for his first win of the season. Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick, they just keep answering each other now at 6 wins. But now that the focus really sort of shifts to these 6 names in white from 11th to 16th, as they are the ones fighting for those 6 open tickets. Now just 2 regular season races left. So let's hear from one of those drivers who certainly made gains today. Parker Kligerman caught up with one.
Jimmie Johnson finished his 7th, but more importantly, 7 stage points, and you're now +3 on your teammate in the playoffs over William Byron. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, it does feel good. You know, we had just a solid day, so it's nice to kind of run there in the top 10. I wish we had a little bit more for the lead guys, but this new tire really threw us for a loop. We spent all day working on it and got a little bit closer there at the end. So, but, you know, good start to the doubleheader. Looking forward to another race tomorrow with the Ally Chevrolet.
And let's talk about tomorrow. You had this great run. You had the good run at Daytona. It seems like a little momentum here rumbling towards the end of the regular season. I know there's a lot of pressure on you guys, but if you pull off the same thing you did today, you should be in a very good position going to Daytona. How do you make it better?
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's a tough race and a lot can happen. But, you know, keeping it within 100% for myself and the team is the important thing. I think, you know, truth be told, we've been probably a 5th to 10th place car throughout the year, and I've been trying to do more than that, making mistakes. So, you know, if we just, you know, use our head tomorrow and race smart, good clean stops, I think we get a bit more of a cushion.
A big points haul for Jimmie Johnson's 48 team today.
And he mentions that all-important word, cushion. If I'm doing the math here, I know Kyle likes to do these the math equations. I'm going to need to be an expert in first-grade math this year, by the way. So Jimmy went in 25 points down from the cut. He's now 3 up. So Kyle, he 28, right? He gained 28 points today. How did my math turn out?
I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to take your higher authority. But yes, that's about a 28-point swing. And we heard what Jimmy said. It was a solid day for him. That's what they needed. If you can't get a win, get a solid day when you're in that position. And I think they capitalized on it. They capitalized on when they saw what was going on with the 24 car, their closest competitor. When they saw what was going on with William Byron and Chad Knaus, they just ran with it. And it was a great day. And we heard him say, we've had a 5th to 10th place car, but we've made a lot of mistakes trying to make more out of it and trying to get more out of it. They took what was handed to them today, and they'll have an opportunity to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, he also was able to gain 20 points on Matt DiBenedetto, and so that brought, with Matt having a bad day, really, and not performing very well, they tried some different strategies to keep themselves in it, but ended up not performing very well. So that's brought him back into this mix of talking about that. This is setting up for something fascinating that we've talked about for years, but it's actually going to be a reality next Saturday night in Daytona, that's going to be the cutoff race for the regular season. So a lot of things shaping up here, but I think Jimmy Johnson did exactly what he was looking for. He'll make some improvements on that race car and then probably try to get a little bit more out of it tomorrow, possibly to see if they can compete with those Toyotas.
And there is pressure on his shoulders, but again, this is a 7-time champion. He sort of thrives on that pressure. There's not a situation that he really hasn't been in, so he should sleep well tonight, knowing, like you guys talked about in the pre-race show, that he has another chance, 2 bites at the apple tomorrow. But this bubble talk is going to continue both for tomorrow's race, again at Dover, and next weekend at Daytona. One of those drivers in that mix is Erik Jones.
Eventful day for Erik Jones, brings it home in the 12th spot. You had that left rear quarter panel damage from, I think, lap 1. So how did that change your day today?
Yeah, I mean, it hurt it. I mean, first off, I want to say apologize to Kurt and the whole one team. You know, I got into him there lap 1 or 2 by mistake. I got tight and ended their day really quick and feel bad. I've raced with Kurt now for a while, and we've never had an issue and raced really well. So I want to say sorry to them first, but our day was kind of tough from there on. You know, we had to cut the left rear quarter off it after that. And, I think that hurt our balance a little bit. I mean, it's not like night or day, but definitely didn't help. The DeWalt Camry was just kind of back and forth. It was mostly loose all day. And we tightened it up and never really could seem to make a difference on it. So hopefully we can use the same car and come back tomorrow.
Yeah, and I know you haven't had a ton of time to assess the damage, but initial thoughts on whether you'll be able to run this car or have to go to the backup?
Yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 shot. I mean, the other 3 don't have any damage, I don't think. So, hopefully we can kind of put all our hands there on our car and get a left rear stabbed on it. So I guess I'm going to go find out here in about a couple of minutes, but hopefully we can get it back patched up and not have to start at the back.
Fairly solid points day for this guy. He's closing that gap. Erik Jones comes home 12th today.
Yeah, he is closing the gap, but I guess my question to you, Dale, is it enough? I mean, do they need to be swinging for the fences, or do they need to just play it conservative for these next 2 races?
Well, I think that tomorrow they try to get as many stage points as they possibly can. I think tomorrow's about, he's probably not, and I'm not sure anybody's going to outrun his teammates as they finished 1, 2, 3 today. I think Kevin Harvick will make some adjustments to get there. But speaking of Erik Jones, get as many stage points if you can gather that tomorrow, if indeed they're able to fix this car and start up there to where that enables them to be able to do that. Close that gap as much as you can, because as we've seen, we keep talking about Daytona, and it's going to be the talk as to everything that can happen. I mean, you can make up or lose 10, 12 spots in the final couple of laps at Daytona, so anything can happen there. Do what you can do there. Erik Jones has actually won at Daytona in what was the July race and now the August race, so he knows how to get that done. So there's a lot of possibilities, but first and foremost is to gain as many points as you possibly can to that cut line tomorrow, to that number 16 spot.
Yeah, and listen, I see, and that's what this race was all about, is what Dale just explained. But I'm going to take from my perch on the grassy knoll here. I just heard Erik Jones apologize to Kurt Busch. Maybe he should have apologized to Chip Ganassi, because Erik doesn't have a ride next year. The 42 car is open next year. So maybe that's where he needs to be headed, because maybe his name, he's apologizing to his next year's teammate. You never know. But at the same time, Eric has to look in the mirror and say, my 3 teammates finished first, second, and third. You know what I mean? I have put myself in a bad position in this first race. I don't swing for the fence. I've just got to get some solid runs under my belt the rest of the year, gain some points, show people that I can get this job done, and go out and do it.
Our NBC studio has relocated to the Dealey Plaza as Kyle makes his campaigning there. Kyle Busch coming up. We're going to hear from him. He had a great day. Again, Joe Gibbs Racing finishing 1, 2, 3. We'll also hear from Chase Elliott. Some more players from Dover coming up. Doubleheader weekend at Dover. Denny Hamlin, today's race winner. We'll do it all over again tomorrow. Denny Hamlin telling Dave Burns he is working as hard as he ever has as he chases his first Cup Series championship. 6 wins on the season. But let's hear from some more drivers today at Dover. Dylan caught up with one.
Kyle Busch comes home in the 3rd spot today. You guys were battling the balance all afternoon long. What happened there on the last run ultimately?
Yeah, we had, I don't know. I don't know what happened. We have to figure that out. But, you know, we had a pretty fast Interstate Batteries Camry. We made it all the way up front and did a good job there. The time that we put tires on under green, car was really fast, really good. So I was optimistic keeping up with Truex that once we got tires on it, I could maybe keep up or be faster. And it just, we were so tight at the end. I mean, it went from being 4 or 5 numbers loose to 4 or 5 numbers tight. I mean, a 10-number swing and just putting tires on. So crazy how that happens. But come home with a good, solid 3rd place, I guess. And, you know, got 2 good teammates here, notebook and everything that they got to lean on. Hopefully we can work on some things for tonight and get ourselves better and try to come out here and win tomorrow.
How tough is this place when you have a car that's as bad on the scale as yours was?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what to adjust, you know. I mean, the beginning of the race, we were loose. We tightened it up, and it was plowing tight the next run. And then we freed it up a little bit, and it was loose the next run. You know, we put tires on it under green, and it was fine. And it just, so every single run, it was back and forth, and it was crazy. There's just no keeping up with it. Try to do what you can and the best you can with what you got, and that's all we had.
They salvaged a good day out of it, though, 3rd today for Kyle Busch.
Kevin Harvick restarts his streak of top 5 finishes with a 4th place finish, but it was not easy from the outside by any means. You guys had to come down pit road, come all the way from the back, and then it just seemed like you guys were stuck in that 4th to 6th place zone.
Yeah, we just we fought everything all day with our Mobile 1 Ford Mustang. We had a lot of trouble on pit road. We could not get the front of our car to turn up off the corner, and then, you know, at the end it started just sliding the back everywhere, and it wouldn't turn off the corner. So we definitely have some work to do. The guys did a great job hanging in there and battling back through all the adversity today, but definitely not where we wanted to be.
When I look back at this race, and I think some of you guys will too, is that run where you went from the back all the way to just outside the top 5. How do you find that for tomorrow through the whole race?
Yeah, well, you know, I think the first run of the race, even the second run of the race there after we got the penalty, you know, our tight race car was okay when everybody else was really loose, and then it kind of swung the other way. Everybody got a little bit tighter, and we got even tighter yet than what we started. So we just got to figure out where to start our balance for tomorrow.
Definitely just finding the balance of the Ford car will be the key for tomorrow.
5th today for Chase Elliott. Eventful day. You were at the back at one point, able to come back forward. How would you kind of sum up the day for you?
Yeah, we just we started too far off there at the beginning and had to come in and take an extended pit stop there to get things right. But I feel like our team did a really good job to get things really close after that. We just got a little too far behind, I think, to run with those guys, and I think we still probably need a little bit to run with Martin and Denny. So just got behind and took it took the rest of the day to even get back to where we did. So I think we have a little work to do overnight. I'm looking forward to getting our Napa Camaro on track tomorrow and trying to improve. I think we were in the ballpark. We just still needed just a little bit to run with Denny and Martin.
Do you feel like you learned enough today that you guys can apply that to the start of the race tomorrow and be a little better?
I hope so. I mean, I'm sure the same guys will be back to the front, by mid-race, like always. So, that being said, everybody's going to be a little better tomorrow. And this is a really sensitive racetrack, and a little bit here or there can make you be a long ways off. We didn't miss it much there at the beginning, but, man, we were really bad. And then once we got back in traffic, obviously, the clean air kind of covered it up. But once we got back in traffic, just really bad. And made some small changes relatively, and then felt like was decent. So just need to be a tick better for tomorrow.
Thanks, Chase.
Yep.
So there you heard from the drivers finishing in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Chase Elliott saying we were in the ballpark, but they all said, Dale, we have work to do. Of the 3, is there someone or something that jumped out at you in those interviews?
Yes, the main thing that jumped out at me was probably the most energetic and happy 3rd place interview that Kyle Busch has ever done. And I say that, you know, with confidence that he is turning things around, and you could tell in his voice that it was so much better for him to run good. That gave him that confidence. Even though it was still his 2 teammates that outran him, he had moments that he knew that his car was just as fast as anybody else there. That's what he's been looking for. Now they'll talk, make some changes to the car, and hopefully give him the car that he needs tomorrow. But just seeing him competitive again, I think that's the thing that stands out. Kevin Harvick is, you know, he's going to be competitive every week, and you know, these are, you know, we've seen this top 5 be the drivers that seem to be able to, on a weekly basis, be there and be in contention, and you wonder if that's where our champion probably will come from, or is that top 5 today?
Yeah, that's great to point that out, because I believe that. Those 5 guys there have been the consistent guys. And I agree with Dale. Watching that interview with Kyle, you knew that he had put in a ton of work to be able to have a solid day today. Really focused on where he needs to be, focused on the end of the season, focused on the playoffs, focused on where he needs to be, and he sees some progress, some light at the end of the tunnel. So I applaud him. That was a great interview. The other thing I took away from it was he talks about, we had the tires, it went from a 5 loose to a 5 tight, or a 5 tight to a 5 loose. That's old school. That's bias ply tires, old school, man. You came down pit road, crossed your fingers, crossed your toes, and hope you got a matched set of tires to go back on, because you can't adjust a car to tires that you don't know what's going on in the car. But then you have to get up on the wheel and drive. And I think Kyle got up on the wheel today and drove that thing, and that was very impressive. Chase, we take Chase. I think Chase, it's funny, Dale, I said to Dale when they dropped the green flag, was Chase the only one that took the green flag? Because he was a half a straightaway ahead when we got to the backstretch. And I also said to Dale, sitting in there a minute ago, look at there. There's Kevin Harvick in 4th. They haven't talked about him all day long. That's a Kevin Harvick bad day. For he and Rodney Childers, when they miss it a little bit, somehow they still come home with a top 3, top 4, top 5. That's why he's a championship driver, and the caliber of driver and the caliber of team that he and Rodney have put together.
Yeah, Chase Elliott was a big fan of the way our friend Mike Bagley dropped that green flag at the start of the race. Kyle, what's the coffee count? Because I know one of the things we do on the post-race show, we like to tie up loose ends. Steve Letarte wanted to know how many cups of coffee you had today.
Yeah, and Steve misinterpreted that, and I heard him off air. He said 5 cups. That's wrong. As you guys know, Morgan and I just had a new baby, and Cotton as our new family member. I've had 5 pots since midnight. 5 pots. Not 5 cups, 5 pots. So we got the number right. We just missed on the cup versus a pot of coffee.
Yeah, he's staying overnight here. He'll be ready for tomorrow.
I am right here. I am ready to go.
Well, you're going to need to keep it going, because tomorrow is another long day, but it is going to be a good one. When we come back, we're going to get you ready with some thoughts on tomorrow's second Cup race at Dover, plus the Indy 500. The greatest spectacle in racing takes place tomorrow on NBC, the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Marco Andretti starts on the pole and will try to follow in his grandfather Mario's footsteps. It's going to be exciting. And actually, it is a family affair, because not only that, but Mario and Michael Andretti will lead the field to green on Sunday in the 2-seater. There you see the family photo, and Michael thought he was driving the 2-seater, Kyle, and Mario put this out and said, not happening, I'm driving. I actually had the pleasure of doing a 2-seater with Mario Andretti, and I drove. I'm teasing. I did do a 2-seater right with my Texas. But.
I know Mario didn't do that, but listen, what a special moment for an incredible family, for a family that has meant so much to motorsports in this country for so many years. What a special moment for those guys. So I am truly, truly excited. From the Petty family, I know from the Jarrett family, from families that have been in racing, that is a special, special moment, special honor, something they'll always remember no matter what.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Mario's still in charge of that whole thing.
Sure,
always has been and always will be. But as long as they're going to have a great race there, should be fascinating to watch. Always is. But we've got 2 more races at Dover tomorrow afternoon. See if Justin Allgaier can continue things, or is Austin Cindric going to say, nope, my turn to get back into victory lane? And then I think the Toyota's going to be hard to beat once again.
Yeah, and just for everybody's knowledge out there, I'll be doing pre-race and post-race for every automobile race on NBC for the next 24 hours with the pots of coffee out there. Thank you, Krista. See you next week.
He could do it. Dale Jarrett will be in the booth calling the Xfinity Series race with Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton. There's Mike Bagley dropping the green flag for today's action. Again, our race winner is Justin Allgaier in the Xfinity Series race, driving that number 7. A great day for Jimmy Johnson, but it was Denny Hamlin at the end of the day in Dover. What will happen tomorrow? We can't wait to see. Let's head now to Virginia International Raceway for IMSA action with the Michelin GT Challenge. That's coming up next.